Xiaofan's Wuxia Tales. Chapter 50-44. Kong Xinmu, you are very strong. After coming out, Yu Rulan said goodbye to Kong Xinmu. Do your best on the battlefield. Bring glory to our dragon gods. Of course. Kong Xinmu nodded. Let's go. Yu Rulan turned and left with her team. But in her heart, Kong Xinmu was the number one figure. He was a strong cultivator that she had rarely met. Not only was he strong, but he was also mentally strong. This was not something that could be achieved through hard work. Kong Xinmu watched her team leave without saying anything. In the past 4 hours, he had devoured the power of 12 different elements, increasing his resistance to these elements to the peak. For this, he had paid a price of 12,000 gold dragon coins. But this was a small matter to him. After all, he had many ways to earn gold dragon coins. Over the years, he had amassed over 300,000 gold dragon coins after wandering around so many outlying strongholds. The war is about to begin. Kong Xinmu thought to himself. Less than 2 hours after Kong Xinmu came out of the army training field, there was the sound of drums outside the soaring dragon fortress. The war had finally begun. The cultivators of the Devil Leader clan had begun to attack the soaring dragon fortress. Facing the cultivators of the Devil Leader clan, the dragon gods could not easily kill them, because the way the Devil Leader clan fought was to summon the Devil Leader. The Devil Leader clan was a kind of puppet. It was a pitch-black stone man. The cultivation method of the Devil Leader clan allowed the cultivators to use their own power to condense these pitch-black stone puppets. They were called devil puppets. Basically, when the 4 races joined forces to attack the foreign fortresses of the dragon gods, the Devil Leader clan was in charge of the siege. As long as the Devil Leader clan had enough power, they could always summon devil puppets to fight for them. A peak Emperor-level Devil Leader clan could summon a devil puppet with the combat power of a peak Emperor-level devil puppet after a certain amount of time. At the same time, there could be 3 devil puppets. Even if one was destroyed, they could quickly condense and summon another. Of course, it would take a long time to summon a demonic puppet that was equivalent to one's cultivation level. It would take at least a few hours. But if this kind of war continued, it would undoubtedly be extremely beneficial to the Devil Fiend tribe. Thus, a siege against the Devil Fiends was not like an ordinary siege, where they only needed to defend. Once they defended to the death, the only outcome would be the stronghold being breached. His opponent's demonic puppets were endless. Therefore, they had to take the initiative to attack. In this way, the positions of both sides were more or less the same. The dragon gods needed to leave the fortress and attack the main body of the devil chiefs instead of killing the devil puppets. Generally speaking, these devil chiefs would be protected by a devil puppet. Of the 3 devil puppets, one would be used to protect themselves, allowing the devil puppet's body to envelop them. Some devil chiefs would hide in one of the devil puppets. When all 3 devil puppets were controlled on the battlefield, no one would be able to tell where their main body was. Although the control of the devil puppets was not limited by distance, if one could not see the battlefield with the naked eye, there was no way to control them. Without someone controlling them, the devil puppets would not be able to fight at all. Therefore, the devil chiefs would usually hide somewhere close to their devil puppets. When the battle drums sounded outside the soaring dragon stronghold, Kong Xinmu looked up and saw that from all sides of the soaring dragon stronghold, there was an army of dragon warriors flying up. They transformed into countless divine dragons and flew out of the stronghold. It was a spectacular scene that made one's blood boil. There were also many dragon martialists, including Yu Rulan. The team she led was also flying out of the stronghold. All around the soaring dragon stronghold, there were attacks from demonic puppets that covered the sky and covered the earth. It's easy for me to find the main body of the devil chiefs, but if I want to kill them, I'll be exposed. Looks like I can only rely on luck. Let's go. Kang Shinmu also flew out of the soaring dragon stronghold. He also called out Gu Xinyue and the other three from the small universe. As soon as Gu Xinyue and the other three came out, they immediately used the Starry Sky inheritance to hide themselves. Kang Shinmu did the same. They could not openly appear on the battlefield. The five of them hid themselves and went to the battlefield outside the stronghold. Soon, they found that the outside of the soaring dragon stronghold was in chaos. Whether it was in the sky or on the ground, countless devil puppets were attacking the stronghold. The dragon warriors were facing the attacks, constantly searching for the main body of the devil chiefs. The main body of the devil chiefs could be hidden in their own devil puppets, or in the devil puppets of others. In fact, a powerful devil puppet could even hide the bodies of hundreds of ordinary devil chiefs. If the powerful devil puppet was not killed, the ordinary devil chiefs could not be harmed at all. Therefore, the devil chiefs' attack was very strategic. Among their powerful devil puppets, there would be many ordinary devil chiefs. For example, a team of 12 devil chiefs would have a first-stage transcendent god, and the others would be first-stage emperors. Then, before you killed the first-stage transcendent god leader, the other team members could not be killed, because they were all hiding in the bodies of first-stage transcendent god puppets. Soon, Kang Shinmu and the other four entered the battlefield. Even though they were hiding, it did not mean that they were completely safe. The turbulence in the battlefield was too strong. Terrifying ripples of power swept over from all directions, and if they were not careful, they would be sucked in. Kang Shinmu and the others were only hiding, not completely disappearing from the world. So even though they could not see, the turbulence could still hurt them. We don't have to rush. Let's find our target first. Kang Shinmu instructed Gu Xinyue and the others. They continued to search the battlefield. Suddenly, Kang Shinmu thought of an idea and narrowed his eyes. His perception abilities seemed to be very useful in dealing with the devil fiends. Since he could not attack now, could he warn others? As long as he told them where the main body of the devil chiefs was hiding, wouldn't it be easy to kill them? That's a good idea. Kang Shinmu wanted to give it a try. Chapter 50-45. Gu Xinyue and the other three were already hidden in the battlefield. They were searching for a supreme god stage for opponent in the chaotic battlefield outside the soaring dragon fortress for a chance to attack. Kang Shinmu was not far from Yu Rulan's team of 12. The Devil Chief's tribe team that was fighting against them had summoned a total of 30 demon puppets. They were surrounding Yu Rulan's team. 30 demon puppets was about the size of a Devil Chief's tribe team of 12. However, they did not know where the other 6 demon puppets were. It was very likely that they were hiding somewhere else. The Devil Chiefs themselves were also hidden within the 6 demon puppets, controlling the 30 demon puppets from afar. For the Devil Chiefs, the further away they were, the lower the combat power of the demon puppets they could control. Therefore, if they wanted to control the demon puppets to fight, they could not be too far away from their own demon puppets. Kang Shinmu did not think too much about it. After all, he could not attack them openly. Although Yu Rulan and the others were facing a great deal of pressure, it was obvious that the 30 demon puppets weren't particularly powerful. This means that the Devil Chiefs controlling these demon puppets might be some distance away from here. Kang Shinmu thought to himself. Fighting against the Devil Chief's tribe army was the most difficult. For ordinary dragon warriors, it was very difficult to kill a Devil Chief's tribe member. At most, they could destroy a few demon puppets. However, if they destroyed the demon puppets, they would be able to form 3 more demon puppets after a while. In other words, if the dragon gods died, they would really die. It would be a huge loss. If the demon puppets were killed, they would only consume some of the opponent's resources. They would not weaken the opponent's overall combat power. The opponent would only need to rest for a few days before they could regroup. When Kang Xinmu arrived, he found that although Yu Rulan and the others were struggling to resist the attacks of the 30 demon puppets, it was not very dangerous. When the 12 of them worked together, their defense was very good. They also used all kinds of formations. When Kang Xinmu fought with them, he felt that unless it was a Supreme God Stage 3 expert, they would not be able to pose a threat to his team. Therefore, Kang Xinmu did not need to worry about their safety for the time being. The combat power of the 12 devil puppets formed by the 12 devil chiefs was not particularly strong. Only 6 of them had reached the level of a first-stage Supreme God. There was some coordination between the 3 devil puppets, so after fighting for a while, Yu Rulan and the others could roughly tell which of the 30 devil puppets belonged to the same devil chief clan. They didn't need to distinguish too clearly, but this kind of observation made it easier for them to find out where the other's main body was. Although he could not be certain, it was very likely that the other party would reveal some clues. Kang Xinmu only took a glance and shook his head. He had been hiding in the void around him, and had long since discovered that none of the 30 devil puppets had their true bodies. Otherwise, the battle prowess of the 30 demonic puppets wouldn't be so weak. There were even some parts of their battle that weren't coordinated. Their main body definitely wasn't too close to this place. Kang Xinmu thought for a moment, then keenly sensed and distinguished the types of auras of these 30 demonic puppets. Then, he carefully observed the battlefield. The cosmic runes had a way to strengthen one's senses, and Kang Xinmu had fused with the powerful senses of the Nightmare Ink Beast. In this kind of situation, he could accurately determine the source of the other party's power. He quickly sensed a trace of power. This power aura was being emitted by the 30 devil puppets, and it was being transmitted through the void in an extremely secretive manner. Moreover, the traces of the 30 devil puppets' power auras were all pointing in the same direction. This meant that the main body of the devil chief clan was very likely in that direction, and they were all gathered together. Once he could eliminate the other party, he would be able to eliminate the other party completely. Kang Xinmu quickly moved in the direction he had sensed and quickly flew in the direction he had sensed. He moved forward in the void, and even in this chaotic battlefield, it was as if he was walking on flat ground. No one could discover his traces. As for the higher echelons of the supreme gods and supreme existences, once they got close, they would naturally be discovered by Kang Xinmu in advance, and he would retreat in advance. But now, Kang Xinmu did not sense any existences around him that could discover him. Very quickly, he followed the traces of the 30 devil puppets' power auras and arrived at another battlefield. Then, he discovered that there was a gathering place of the devil chief clan's captains in the other battlefield. There were a few supreme god-level devil puppets in this place. 2 of them were even at the 4th level of the supreme god level. This shocked Kang Xinmu. The traces of power auras that he had been following led directly to the body of one of the 4th level devil puppets. This meant that the main body of the devil chief clan team that was fighting with Yu Rulan and the others were all in the body of this 4th level devil puppet. In the area in front of Kang Xinmu, there were a total of 5 devil puppets. 2 of them were at the 4th level, and 3 of them were at the 3rd level. With such a lineup, no Dragon God's team came to find these devil puppets. But, it was likely that the main bodies of all the devil chief clan members were hiding in these devil puppets. I have to inform Deputy General Qing Lin. Kang Xinmu thought to himself. The 5 supreme god-level devil puppets in front of him were not something that Kang Xinmu could easily kill. Once he attacked, his existence would be exposed. Moreover, with 2 of the 4th level devil puppets together, even if Kang Xinmu wanted to attack, it would be difficult for him to kill both of them silently. Once he failed, this mission would be completely ruined. Therefore, Kang Xinmu used his thoughts to contact Emoya. Emoya, I found a gathering place for the main bodies of the devil chief clan. Can you inform Deputy General Qing Lin and ask him to come and clean up this area? Okay, I will inform Deputy General Qing Lin to come over. Mo Ya's gentle voice quickly reached Kang Shinmu's ears. Then, there was no more news. However, Kang Shinmu knew that Deputy General Qing Lin would definitely come over soon. Mo Ya had indeed done a very good job of contacting the experts of the stronghold. Kang Shinmu hid nearby and carefully sensed the situation within the bodies of the 5 devil puppets. Even with his powerful senses, he could not clearly sense how many Devil Chief clan members were inside. But these 5 devil puppets were still constantly moving around the battlefield. Whenever they encountered a team of dragon gods, they would crush them. There was no one who could stop them. On this side of the battlefield, they were the overlords. But, after a few minutes, a powerful divine dragon descended from the sky. Deputy General Qing Lin had arrived. Chapter 5046. Deputy General Qing Lin was the inheritor of the wind attribute divine dragon essence blood. As soon as he appeared, an extremely strong gust of wind was set off. The 5 Supreme God Level 3 and Level 4 demonic puppets all wanted to escape at this moment. Unfortunately, it was too late to escape. This was just a small corner of the battlefield. Compared to the entire soaring dragon fortress, it was just a small area. They had never expected Deputy General Qing Lin, who was at the pinnacle of the Supreme God realm, to descend into this area and attack the 5 demon puppets. The key problem was that there were many other places in this area that had Supreme God Level 3 and Level 4 demon puppets. How did Deputy General Qing Lin know that their true bodies were within these 5 demon puppets? It only took an instant. Deputy General Qing Lin attacked. A violent gust of wind swept through the area, and the 5 demon puppets were torn apart and disintegrated. The true bodies of the dozens of fiend devil archfiends hidden within were all buried in the violent winds at this moment. In an instant, dozens of demon chiefs were killed. All the demonic puppets in the surrounding area immediately stopped moving. Without the command and control of the main body, these demonic puppets were like dead objects, completely stopping. Kang Shinmu hid in the dark and watched this scene. He was shocked and surprised. Deputy General Qing Lin's strength was simply too strong. Against the 5 Supreme God Level 4 and Level 3 demon puppets, he could easily tear them apart with a wave of his divine dragon claws. After the true bodies were killed, the demon puppets in the surrounding area finally quieted down. All the demon puppets lost their true bodies. In an instant, more than 100 demon chiefs were killed. Their true bodies were hidden within the bodies of the 5 Supreme God Level 3 and Level 4 demon puppets. Deputy General Qing Lin had killed them all. Looks like the demon chiefs are using a group tactic this time. As long as the leader of each team doesn't die, they can guarantee the strongest combat power in the area. Deputy General Qing Lin immediately discovered where Kang Shinmu was hiding. He sent a voice transmission to him. Kang Shinmu, your senses are not bad. It's a pity that your concealment ability isn't that strong. Why don't I give you a boost so that you can continue galloping on this battlefield? Can you find the location of the peak Supreme God level Devil Fiend race's main body? When Kang Shinmu heard this, he immediately understood what the other party meant. This was asking him to specifically search for the real body of the enemy leader on the battlefield. This way, he could defeat the enemy as quickly as possible. Kang Shinmu pondered for a moment before replying, I'm not sure yet, but theoretically speaking, it should be possible. Of course, if the other party has any special concealment methods, then I can't guarantee that I'll be able to detect them. Sure. Deputy General Qing Lin smiled. I'll help you conceal your aura. Don't worry, no matter how many enemies I kill this time, I'll give you half of the achievement points. Half of his achievement points. To be honest, Kang Shinmu was tempted when he heard that. This was far more efficient than killing enemies on his own. Although he had only received half of the merit points, he had still managed to kill more than 100 devil fiends in that one attack. Among them, there were more than 10 supreme gods. Even half of this amount of achievement points was enough to exchange for a portion of Deity stone liquid. With another wave, he might even be able to exchange for all the Deity stone liquid in the Soaring Dragon stronghold. However, Kang Xinmu knew very well why Deputy General Qing Lin was giving him such good treatment. Because if he could use this ability well, he could completely change the course of the entire battle. He could even deal a heavy blow to the Devil Fiend race army. To the Devil Fiend race army, this would be a fatal blow. Due to the unique characteristics of the Devil Fiend race, they usually had several ways of fighting. This kind of gathering tactic allowed them to unleash the greatest battle power in their area, as well as their ability to fight continuously. No matter how many devil puppets died, they could reform. As long as they used their strongest power to protect their main body, it would be fine. Generally speaking, these devil puppets with the main body of the Devil Fiend race in them had special concealment abilities that could not be easily discovered. But to Kang Xinmu, this concealment ability was ineffective. And now, the Devil Fiend race using this kind of gathering tactic was right in front of Kang Xinmu's eyes. As long as he found a place where the main body of the Devil Fiend race was gathered, Kang Xinmu could inform Deputy General Qing Lin to come and wipe them all out in one fell swoop. This was practically a war harvester. Without Kang Xinmu, even Deputy General Qing Lin would not be able to see if the main body of the Devil Fiend race was hidden in these ordinary Supreme God Devil puppets. But if Kang Xinmu found them, then the end of the Devil Fiend race would come. If I can find more than 100 Supreme God Devil Fiend race's main bodies, then I can obtain at least a few 100,000 gold dragon coins worth of achievement points. I can obtain the Deity stone liquid, and even obtain a lot of achievement points that I can use to exchange for other cultivation resources. In fact, if I can find the enemy's peak Supreme God Commander and have Deputy General Qing Lin surround him, my achievement points will explode. With Kang Xinmu's current strength, there was no way he could kill a Supreme God Devil Fiend race's main body. But as long as he found the enemy's main body and had Deputy General Qing Lin take action, he could instantly earn half of the achievement points. How terrifying! Of course, Kang Xinmu, if you find a powerful Supreme God Devil Fiend race's main body that even I can't deal with, the achievement points you earn will definitely be distributed to your comrades. Time is of the essence on the battlefield. For example, if you find a Supreme God Devil Fiend race's main body, I will definitely have the Supreme Commander of the Soaring Dragon Fortress take action. In that case, I won't be able to earn much achievement points, so I won't be able to give you much. Kang Xinmu expressed his understanding of Deputy General Qing Lin's words. After all, there were not many Supreme God Devil Fiend race opponents on the entire battlefield. It would not be easy for Kang Xinmu to meet one. Even if he did, he might not be able to find the main body's hiding place. Therefore, Kang Xinmu did not think about this problem for now. Even if he did meet one and only received a small portion of the achievement points, it would still be a lot for Kang Xinmu. After all, that was a Supreme God Devil Fiend race's main body. To the entire Devil Fiend race army, they were extremely important figures. Deputy General Qing Lin quickly began to enhance Kang Xinmu's concealment power. Chapter 5047. This way, Kang Xinmu could move more freely on the battlefield. After receiving the wind attribute concealment power from Deputy General Qing Lin, Kang Xinmu looked around. The third and fourth levels of the demon puppets' hiding places had been completely eliminated. As a result, the demonic puppets in this small area all stopped moving as if they were broken. Yu Rulan's team, which was not far away, was originally facing the joint attack of 30 demonic puppets. Although they were able to resolve the situation, they were still in a perilous situation and were in constant danger. But now, when they attacked, they suddenly realized that their opponents were not moving. The true bodies of these demon puppets have been killed. Yu Rulan immediately understood the reason. Come, everyone, let's get rid of these demon puppets. It was not just her team. Dozens of dragon gods' teams around them began to clear out the immobile demon puppets. This was equivalent to clearing out an area. They still needed time to destroy these demon puppets. Kang Xinmu did not stay in this area. He quickly went to other areas, preparing to find other places where the true bodies of the demon leader race were gathered. The demon leader race's strategy this time was originally a very effective way to ensure that they could fight a protracted battle. But when they met Kang Xinmu, it was like they had met their nemesis. As long as Kang Xinmu found out where the true bodies were, they would be completely destroyed in one wave. Unlike the usual guerrilla warfare, it was very difficult for Kang Xinmu to find them one by one. Even if he found them one by one, Deputy General Qing Lin did not have that much time to kill them one by one. After all, Deputy General Qing Lin still needed to restrain the experts of the enemy army. He would not be free for a long time. Of course, as long as Kang Xinmu found a group of demon leader race's true bodies, he would be able to find time to get rid of them. After all, Deputy General Qing Lin's main task was to restrain them, not fight them head-on. Therefore, Kang Xinmu flew to the side. Around the area where the demon puppets were paralyzed, some of the demon leader race had already discovered that something was wrong. They even began to move their true bodies. Kang Xinmu ignored these demon leader race. Instead, he flew to a slightly further place to search. Soon, he found another place where the true bodies of the demon leader race were gathered. This place was where the demon leader race was gathered. It was led by a Supreme God level 7th level demon puppet, surrounded by several Supreme God level demon puppets. There were a total of 3 Supreme God level 7th level demon puppets in this area. These 3 devil skeletons had clearly come from the same devil archer, but they were scattered in 3 different directions. Among the 3 Supreme God level 7 demonic puppets, one of them had an empty body. One devil puppet had a small number of devil chief clansmen in its body, but one devil puppet had over 100 devil chief clansmen in its body. This method of concealment was quite exquisite. If it wasn't for Jiang Xinwu's superb perception, he really wouldn't have been able to discover where they were hiding. But they split up to confuse their opponents so that they would not know which demon puppet they were hiding in. Unfortunately, they had encountered Kang Xinmu. Not only had they failed to confuse their opponents, they had also weakened their own combat power. Unfortunately, they had encountered Kang Xinmu. Not only had they failed to confuse their opponents, they had also weakened their own combat power. This was not a problem. Usually, Deputy General Qing Lin and the others would be held back by the demon leader race. They would not have the time to find their true bodies one by one. But this time, Kang Xinmu had appeared. Kang Xinmu's appearance could be said to be the demon leader race's nightmare. Kang Xinmu had discovered the hiding place of the Supreme God level 7th level demon leader race's true bodies and more than 100 Supreme God level demon leader race's true bodies. He had immediately informed Deputy General Qing Lin of his current location. He had not alerted them at all. The Supreme God level 7th level demon leader race's true bodies could not discover Kang Xinmu, who had been enhanced by the wind of concealment. Kang Xinmu's concealment ability was already very strong. After being enhanced by the wind of concealment, it was even more terrifying. Those who had not reached the Supreme God level would not be able to discover his existence. Not long after, Deputy General Qing Lin arrived again. When the 7th stage Transcendent God demonic puppet discovered Deputy General Qing Lin's whereabouts, it immediately wanted to escape. However, Deputy General Qing Lin was already prepared when he descended. A terrifying gale swept through the entire area once again, appearing in front of Kang Xinmu. Kang Xinmu retreated far away to avoid being affected. As far as the eye could see, there was a howling hurricane. The 7th layer's demonic centipede that Jiang Xinwu had marked was directly blown to pieces by the hurricane, disintegrating into a pile of ashes. Hundreds of Supreme God level demon leader races' true bodies had died in this attack. Deputy General Qing Lin was not weak. If the Supreme God level 7th level demon leader race's 3 demon puppets gathered together, they might be able to resist for a while. They might even be able to hold on until the demon leader race's reinforcements arrived. But unfortunately, in order to confuse the dragon gods, he had separated the 3 demon puppets. This lone demonic puppet with some low-level and middle-level transcending god demonic puppets was naturally unable to withstand the destructive attack that Deputy General Qing Lin had prepared. Soon after, with Deputy General Qing Lin's attack, the entire area was cleared. Then, all the demon puppets in the surrounding area lost control. The dragon gods in the area counterattacked, and a terrifying power exploded in the entire area. Before Deputy General Qing Lin attacked, almost all the dragon gods in the area had been suppressed. After all, each of them had to face an average of 3 times the number of enemies. But now, it was time to counterattack. Kang Xinmu looked at the paralyzed, uncontrolled demon puppets in the area and heaved a sigh of relief. He was also a little excited. This kind of action was like a beacon. Wherever he pointed, Deputy General Qing Lin would attack. Eliminating the demon leader race's true bodies like this was fatal to the demon leader race's army. And he believed that after these 2 attacks, the demon leader race would have already noticed. Kang Xinmu realized that there were already many demon leader race's true bodies around him that had started to disperse. This time, the Supreme God level 7th level Deputy General was killed. Among them, there were 2 Supreme Gods level 5, 3 Supreme Gods level 4, and 7 Supreme Gods level 1 to level 3. Chapter 50-48. Deputy General Qing Lin's surprise was inevitable. This was the first time a dragon warrior had such a perceptive ability since the start of the war between the Soaring Dragon Fortress and the Devil Kuei clan. They could see through the appearance of a demon puppet and see if the Devil Kuei clan's main body was in it. It was important to note that the Soaring Dragon stronghold and the Demon Fiend tribe had been at a stalemate for far too long. Furthermore, the losses suffered by both sides were definitely more severe on the Soaring Dragon stronghold side. Although there were many dragon warriors who came to the battlefield of the Soaring Dragon Fortress and made great achievements in battle, then obtained a large number of cultivation resources and broke through to a stronger realm, and after returning to the great world of the dragon gods, they became heroes who were sung by people. But the number of dragon warriors who had died in the Soaring Dragon Fortress was even greater. Clearly, the Devil Kuei clan's combat power was overwhelming. Of course, because the Devil Kuei clan was small in number, they had not been able to launch any large-scale attacks. After all, the Devil Kuei clan was responsible for many outland fortresses. They could not concentrate all their forces on the Soaring Dragon Fortress. For a long time, the Devil Kuei clan had not been large. Compared to old clans like the Dragon Gods, there was a huge gap. But with their unique fighting style, they had been able to establish themselves in this world. Now, they had become a big opponent of the Dragon Gods. Although they were fighting 4 major clans at the same time, the Devil Kuei clan had brought them a lot of trouble. The Devil Kuei clan army attacking the Soaring Dragon Fortress now numbered about 70 to 80,000. The Dragon God's army and cultivators defending the Soaring Dragon Fortress added up to about 150,000. At first glance, they seemed to have the advantage in numbers. In fact, each Devil Kuei clan warrior could control 3 demon puppets of the same level. Their combat power was 3 times. Under such circumstances, the dragon gods were actually at a disadvantage in terms of numbers. For a long time, it was not just the Soaring Dragon Fortress. The other outland fortresses that faced the Devil Kuei clan had been a headache. After all, they could not tell which demon puppet the main body of the Devil Kuei clan was in. Naturally, they could not attack the main body of the Devil Kuei clan effectively. Of course, if the opponent was 3 levels higher, for example, a 7th-level dragon warrior against a 4th-level Devil Kuei clan demon puppet, they could search for clues and find out where the opponent's main body was. But generally speaking, the devil puppets of the Devil King clan all had the ability to resist the perception of the Dragon God clan. Therefore, forget about being 3 levels higher. Even if they were 4 or 5 levels higher, it would still take a very long time for them to discover the location of the other party's main body. Under the continuous attack of countless demon puppets, their numbers were several times that of their own. In such a situation, it was naturally very difficult for them to find the location of the other party's main body. That was Kang Xinmu. Now, he was actually able to find the hiding spot of the enemy's main body in one go, and perfectly conceal himself as he roamed the battlefield. How could Deputy General Qing Lin not be shocked? After all, this meant that it wasn't just the Soaring Dragon Fort, but all the other Outer Realm strongholds that faced the Devil Kuei tribe would also have a magic weapon that could defeat the Devil Kuei tribe, and that weapon was Kang Xinmu. Kang Xinmu's existence was the best blow to the Devil Kuei tribe. Even if the other party didn't use concentrated tactics, it didn't matter to Kang Xinmu. His ability to sense the existence of the enemy's main body was still there, so he could still exert his advantage in that kind of chaotic battlefield. Kang Xinmu, with this ability of yours, why didn't you come to our Soaring Dragon Fort earlier? Ha! Deputy General Qing Lin laughed. He had more and more trust and appreciation for Kang Xinmu's ability. This time, you are the great hero of our Dragon God clan. Kang Xinmu, you just need to do as I say, and perhaps you can completely disintegrate the plan of the 4 races to attack the Dragon God clan, and even defeat them. Then, Deputy General Qing Lin told Kang Xinmu about some of the ideas he had come up with. To Kang Xinmu, this idea was simply too grand. Originally, he thought that he was just a small character who had made some contributions in the war and exchanged them for some Dubhe stone liquid. But in Deputy General Qing Lin's plan, he had even become the key factor in defeating the invaders of the 4 races, or rather, not defeating them, but repelling them. They didn't necessarily have to wipe out the 4 races in one fell swoop. Instead, as long as one of them was repelled, the alliance between the 4 races could be easily disintegrated. And this breakthrough point was the Devil Kuei tribe. The Devil Kuei tribe was not very large in number to begin with, and compared to the large races like the Dragon God clan and the Demon God clan, it was incomparable. Among the 5 races that were currently at war, there was no doubt that the Devil Kuei tribe would find it the most difficult to accept their losses. Although it was quite a pity that the dragon warriors of the Dragon God clan were sacrificed on the battlefield, the Dragon God clan was relatively large, and they could still bear such losses. But for the Devil Kuei tribe, it was not so. The Devil Kuei tribe was too small, and if they suffered too many casualties on the battlefield, they would definitely be unable to bear it and would retreat from the encirclement. Deputy General Qing Lin had specially designed a set of combat methods to counter Kang Xinmu's current abilities. Or rather, it was not a set of combat methods, nor was it a battle strategy. In fact, it was just a battle of attrition. As long as the battle continued, with Kang Xinmu's super-perceptive abilities, the Devil Kuei tribe's losses would be many times greater than before, perhaps even dozens of times greater. The Devil Kuei tribe would not be able to bear such losses. Alright, let's start from the battle at the Soaring Dragon Fortress. Show your terrifying strength against the Devil Kuei tribe. Deputy General Qing Lin had high hopes for Kang Xinmu. If, in the end, Kang Xinmu really used the Devil Kuei tribe as a breakthrough point and ended the war, it would undoubtedly be a great achievement for Deputy General Qing Lin. After discovering Jiang Shenwu, Deputy General Qing Lin did not want to see more wars, nor did he want to see more dragon martial artists die on the battlefield. Every time he saw so many talented young people of the Dragon God clan die on the battlefield, Deputy General Qing Lin felt that it was a great pity. These talented young people of the Dragon God clan were likely to grow up to be the pillars of the Dragon God clan in the future, but now they died on such a battlefield, but helplessly. The current situation of the war really needed the help of these dragon warriors. Sacrifice was inevitable. Chapter 5049. Kong Xinmu understood Qing Lin's meaning. Next, he would use this ability on the battlefield against the devil chiefs. It wasn't that he hadn't fought against the devil chiefs before, but he had only accepted some assassination missions. He had never encountered such a fierce, large-scale battle like this. And this was an attack on the soaring dragon stronghold. In a battle like this, Kong Xinmu's ability could be used to its fullest. Sensing the devil chief's true bodies was not just an ability that allowed Qing Lin to concentrate his attacks on the enemy's army. Even if the enemy did not use a concentrated strategy, Kong Xinmu's ability could greatly influence the outcome of the battle. For example, at this moment, because Deputy General Qing Lin had suddenly appeared and killed nearly 200 cultivators from the Devil Fiend tribe, the Devil Fiend tribe had begun to pay attention to this situation. Although he did not know how Qing Lin had sensed that so many devil chiefs' true bodies were gathered together, there was no doubt that the devil chief's attack this time could no longer use a concentrated strategy. If this continued, the devil chief's sacrifices would be too great. Therefore, the devil chiefs began to order the main bodies of the devil chiefs in the army to disperse and hide in different devil skeletons. This way, even if Qing Lin could sense where the true bodies were, he could not kill them all in one fell swoop. Furthermore, the Devil Leader tribe sent another Supreme God Peak expert to fight against Deputy General Qing Lin together with the original Supreme God Peak Devil Leader tribe expert. That guy had been confronting Deputy General Qing Lin, but Deputy General Qing Lin had easily dodged him. He had even rushed into Jiang Shenwu's area and killed 2 groups of Devil Kuei cultivators. But now, there were 2 devil puppets at the peak of the Transcendent God realm, and a total of 6 devil puppets at the peak of the Transcendent God realm. Qing Lin didn't even have a chance to join in the fight against the lower-level devil puppets. Just as I expected. Deputy General Qing Lin really has foresight. Kong Xinmu admired him. According to Deputy General Qing Lin, it would be very difficult for him to make a move now. However, the devil chiefs would also change their tactics. They would no longer use a concentrated attack, but would have the devil chiefs spread out and not give Deputy General Qing Lin a chance to kill them all at once. In this way, the devil chiefs' army was still unstoppable. With their overwhelming numbers of devil puppets, it was almost 3 against 2 as they advanced towards the soaring dragon stronghold. Currently, the soaring dragon stronghold was protected by a formation, and the protective power of the formation was very strong. It was the type that several supreme powerhouses would find it difficult to break through even if they joined forces. Therefore, if the other party wanted to take down the soaring dragon fortress, they had to continuously kill the practitioners of the Dragon God clan in order to be able to get close to the formation. Then, with the strength of the army, they could destroy the formation. Right now, they were only able to attack the stronghold in the first phase. They could only attack the stronghold from the outside and kill as many of the devil chiefs as possible. At the same time, they also needed to reduce the casualties of their own cultivators. If used correctly, the Devil Kuei Legion's tactic of concentrating their forces would be the most undefeatable. This kind of tactic would allow the devil chiefs to win the battle with the least amount of losses. After all, most of the devil chiefs were protected by powerful devil puppets. With layers of protection, it was extremely difficult for ordinary people to completely kill them. But now, the situation did not allow them to continue with this tactic. They could only have the Devil Kuei Legion retreat. Great changes had occurred on the entire battlefield. In such an open area, the orders of the Devil Kuei Legion's higher-ups were quickly transmitted to the entire battlefield. All of the Devil Kuei Legion's members and practitioners began to move according to the orders. As the orders were given, they scattered, disappearing into the surrounding devil puppets without any pattern. This was called a scattered tactic. The Devil Kuei Legion actually did not want to use it, mainly because scattered tactics brought about greater losses. If they used a concentrated tactic, then on an ordinary battlefield, for every Devil Kuei Legion member that died, the other side would lose dozens. But if they used a scattered tactic, the Devil Kuei Legion's losses would be much higher. Basically, for every person that died, the Dragon God clan could only lose 3 to 5 people. This was the difference in the ratio of casualties. Although scattered tactics would cause more casualties, there would not be the danger of being wiped out as a group. So, it was more suitable in this situation. But Kang Xinmu did not care about the other side's change in tactics. Because to Kang Xinmu, no matter how the other side changed, he could still easily find out where the Devil Kuei Legion's main body was. Although he did not have Deputy General Qing Lin's ability to instantly kill hundreds of devil chiefs, Kang Xinmu could still pass the news to the Dragon God clan's army and the Dragon Warrior teams who were fighting with the Devil Kuei Legion nearby. Kang Xinmu directly found the 2 Devil Kuei Legion's main bodies. They were hiding in a first-tier Supreme God Devil puppet. Then, Kang Xinmu directly transmitted the news to a nearby Dragon God clan team. This Dragon God clan team was originally fighting with a Devil Kuei Legion team, but they could not find the other side's main body. But when Kang Xinmu's news came, their expressions changed. What's that sound? Is it real? Or is it a trap? The Dragon Warrior trial team seemed to be a little uncertain. But soon, a secret military order was passed down directly from the Dragon Martial Warrior Corps of the Soaring Dragon Fortress. This secret military order was directed to every practitioner of the Dragon God clan. All the practitioners of the Dragon God clan on the battlefield received this secret military order. That was, if someone told you where the Devil Kuei Legion's main body was, you were to directly attack and kill the devil puppets. Such a military order was somewhat baffling to the people. After all, Kang Xinmu's range of action was limited. In the time it took for an incense stick to burn, he had only informed these 2 or 3 teams. But the Dragon Warrior cultivators in these 2 or 3 teams knew very well what they had received. Someone could directly tell them where the Devil Kuei Legion's main body was. This was basically letting them win. The Devil Kuei Legion's battle power was above the devil puppets, and their weakness was their main body. As long as they could directly find the other side's main body, the Devil Kuei Legion would definitely not be a match for the other races. The Dragon God clan was naturally able to easily kill the other party's true body, the demonic puppet, directly killing the other party. Chapter 50-50. The 3 squads headed straight for the location Kang Xinmu had sent the message. The devil chiefs whose main bodies had been discovered by Kang Xinmu immediately panicked. Unfortunately, the devil puppets in which they were hiding had been locked onto by the martialist dragon squads. When the martialist dragon squads attacked, there was no way they could escape. The martialist dragon squads had been surrounded by a large number of devil puppets, and because they didn't know where the main bodies of the devil chiefs were, they couldn't break free. But now, the martialist dragon squads unleashed their strongest techniques and charged toward the main bodies of the devil chiefs. Although the devil chief strategy of gathering together had been cancelled, if they fought in small groups, the main bodies of the devil chiefs would most likely be hiding in the same devil puppet. At this moment, the devil puppets of the Devil Kuei tribe were besieged by the 3 squads of dragon warriors. They didn't last long before the 3 squads of dragon warriors broke through their defensive line. All kinds of terrifying power swept out, blasting one of the devil puppets where the main bodies of the devil chiefs were gathered into pieces. As a result, the devil chiefs team they were facing was completely paralyzed. The surrounding devil puppets lost their ability to move and became puppets that no one could control. And similar things happened everywhere on the battlefield outside the Soaring Dragon Fortress. Kang Xinmu constantly traversed the battlefield, searching for the places where the main bodies of the devil chiefs were gathered. He then informed the nearby martialist dragon squads or the dragon gods' army of the dragon gods. Just like that, 4 hours passed. And Kang Shinmu's results were simply astonishing. In these 4 hours, he discovered the hiding places of at least 200 devil chiefs' main bodies. Of these, more than 180 were directly killed by the nearby dragon god's experts. Adding on the 2 previous losses, the devil chiefs had lost more than 300 powerful army practitioners in a short period of time. This was an intolerable loss for the devil chiefs. But the war had just begun, and they couldn't withdraw because of this. But the devil chiefs had already received the news and roughly knew what was going on. Thus, the entire devil fiend tribe legion was ordered to remain hidden. That was, even small teams were not allowed to hide in the same demonic puppet. This way, they could prevent the enemy from concentrating their attacks. But, there were still many devil chieftain squads that couldn't change their fighting habits. They still hid their true bodies in the same devil puppet. In the next 4 hours, Kang Shinmu directly searched for such a devil chief's clan team and continued to inform the nearby dragon god's clan teams to attack. This caused the devil fiends to lose another 7 or 8 squads, a total of 103 devil fiends. This was the fastest result the Soaring Dragon Fort had achieved since the start of the war with the devil fiends. In less than half a day, Kang Shinmu alone had killed 500 devil fiends. Apart from Kang Shinmu, the legions of the Dragon God clan in the other battlefields had killed less than 500 devil chiefs. From this, it could be seen that Kang Shinmu's contribution was obvious. Moreover, this was only the beginning for the Soaring Dragon Fortress and the Devil Fiends Legion. This chaotic battle of the fortress would last at least a few days and nights. To Kang Shinmu, it was not a problem for him to not sleep or rest. He also didn't need to worry about his strength being depleted. He had been active on the battlefield of the Soaring Dragon Fortress. During this time, Gu Xinyue and the others found 1 or 2 devil puppets that were easier to deal with. However, they couldn't determine where their true bodies were. When Kang Shinmu learned of this, he immediately rushed to the scene. He didn't plan on personally attacking. Instead, he found where the enemy's true bodies were hiding and sent their locations and targets to the nearby Supreme God Dragon warriors. In this way, Kang Shinmu helped 3 more Supreme God-tier devil fiends. Such an intense battle was the best training ground for Kang Shinmu. His ability was vividly reflected in this war. Kang Shinmu hid himself and moved freely. No devil fiends could detect his presence. As long as he avoided the Supreme Devil Fiend's territories, he would be fine. He was the perfect detector. On the battlefield, as long as he was there, the devil fiends could not hide their true bodies. And the enemy had no idea what had exposed their true bodies. Soon, there were almost no teams in the devil fiends legion that would fight together. Almost all of them fought separately. Otherwise, Kang Shinmu would report their targets and the dragon martial warriors would kill them all. However, even if they fought separately, Kang Shinmu would not let them go. Under such circumstances, Kang Shinmu directly reported the location of the strongest captains of the Devil Fiends teams. He immediately notified the surrounding Dragon Martialist squads and legions of Dragon Martialist powerhouses to launch precise attacks and kill the enemy leader. Then, the remaining members of the Devil Martialist squad would not be a threat at all. Such a blow to their captains caused the Devil Fiends to panic. After all, it wasn't Kang Shinmu who attacked. It was the Dragon God Legion's teams. And the amazing thing was that they knew exactly where their captains were hiding. This caused a heated discussion in the Devil Leader Clan Legion. The higher-ups held a meeting and quickly came to the conclusion that there was a hidden Dragon God clan member who was helping the Dragon Warriors of the Dragon God Legion to find the hiding place of the Devil Leader clan. Could it be that someone could see through the disguise of the Devil Fiends? No, it might not be a Dragon Martial Warrior. It could be a divine artifact or someone from another race. In short, the Devil Fiends' army was at a complete disadvantage. Although there were many Devil Fiends on the battlefield, once the dragon gods found out where the devil fiends' true bodies were, they would be targeted. They would lose the advantage that the devil fiends had. This put the devil Kuei tribe in a dilemma. Next, the devil fiends' army held out for a little more than a day. During this time, Kang Xinmu found the true bodies of more than 200 devil fiends' team captains. These devil fiends' team captains were at least at the peak of the emperor level, and the highest were at the 7th level of the transcendent realm. Kang Xinmu found all of them, then informed the nearby Dragon God Legion and the Dragon Martial Warriors to kill the enemy captains. Since the strongest captains had been killed, the remaining 10 or so ordinary devil fiends' team captains were no longer a threat. Chapter 50-51. After a day of fighting, the devil Kuei tribe army did not gain any advantage. Instead, they lost at least 5,000 devil Kuei tribe warriors in this battle. It should be noted that once a squad leader died, the other squad members would not be able to fight back against a complete squad of the dragon gods or a squad of trainers. They would be quickly wiped out. In other words, although Kang Xinmu had only provided the hiding place of the squad leader of the devil Kuei tribe, he had indirectly caused the complete destruction of the devil Kuei tribe squad. Originally, this would not have happened. After all, the true bodies of the devil Kuei tribe were hidden in a safe place. But now, the experts of the devil Kuei tribe were fighting on their own. Their true bodies were hidden in their own devil puppets. In this way, when the other dragon gods killed the devil puppets, they might also kill the devil Kuei tribe's true bodies. After more than a day, the devil Kuei tribe army had lost more than 5,000 people, while the dragon gods had only lost about 100 people. This battle had been chaotic from the beginning. Normally, the ratio of casualties should have been the other way around. But today, the devil Kuei tribe finally tasted the taste of a day of heavy casualties. This forced the upper echelons of the devil Kuei tribe army to retreat. They didn't dare to fight anymore. If they did, they were afraid that all of them would die in this war. Even the higher-ups of the 7th level of the Transcendent God were killed because the hiding place of their true bodies was exposed. This was simply unimaginable. The terrifying losses made the devil Kuei tribe army afraid to continue fighting. They did not even want to fight for a moment. They had to find out why the devil Kuei tribe's true bodies had been discovered. And when the devil Kuei tribe army retreated, Kang Xinmu did not let them go. He took the opportunity to take a bite out of them. He once again discovered the hiding places of several transcendent god experts. He ordered Deputy General Qin Lin and the others to lead people to kill them, after the devil Kuei tribe army retreated. Everyone in the soaring dragon fortress was seething with excitement. This battle was simply an unprecedented victory. The sacrifice of more than 100 people in exchange for the deaths of more than 5,000 devil Kuei tribe people. This was the number announced by the fortress. For example, Yu Rulan's squad had killed at least dozens of devil Kuei tribe opponents. This was all because the position of the devil Kuei tribe team leader had been secretly transmitted to them so that they could focus and kill them. Then they had cleared out the surrounding devil Kuei tribe members. It was a remarkable result. When this chaotic battle of attacking the arena, which had lasted for more than a day, ended hastily, all the dragon warriors in the soaring dragon fortress were already cheering. At the same time, the most discussed question in the fortress was, who was the one who sent them the voice transmission? If they had such a method to deal with the devil chiefs, why hadn't they used it earlier? Only Yu Rulan's team knew the truth. Yu Rulan and the others were in complete disbelief. The one who received the voice transmission was Yu Rulan herself, and she also discovered that the voice was very familiar. It was Jiang Shenwu, who had sparred with their team not long ago. Jiang Shenwu was able to discover the location of the enemy devil chiefs. This was an incomparably terrifying ability, and it could be said that he was the Devil Fiend tribe's killer. The entire Devil Fiend tribe's main battlefield had collapsed because of Jiang Shenwu's voice transmissions, which had revealed the location of the devil fiend's main bodies. This was a terrifying ability. It could be said that he was the Devil Kuei tribe's killer. The collapse of the Devil Kuei tribe's main battlefield was because of Kong Shinmu's voice transmissions. After all, they were not prepared at all. When they were besieged by the experts of the Dragon God Clan Legion, they had already lost the chance to escape. Only a few of the more cunning Devil Kuei tribe members could change their location at any time, so sometimes the information provided by Kong Shinmu was not very accurate. This was because the other side had already moved while Kong Shinmu was providing the information. And Kong Shinmu could not keep an eye on one person until they were killed. Basically, after finding the coordinates of a team leader, he would immediately send a message to the nearby Dragon Kuei tribe martial artists and leave. Even so, the Devil Kuei tribe's losses were shocking. The other side only had 70 to 80,000 warriors, and this time, more than 5,000 had died. When the results of the battle came out, both the Dragon Gods and the Devil Kuei tribe were seething with excitement. This was the worst battle the Devil Kuei tribe had fought since they attacked the Dragon Gods. It was also the first battle where they called a retreat. The situation had been completely reversed. Of course, the Devil Kuei tribe had some tricks up their sleeves. They had bribed some spies within the Dragon Gods, some of whom were in the Soaring Dragon Fortress. Now, everyone in the Soaring Dragon Fortress was talking about this, so the Devil Kuei tribe quickly learned that a mysterious voice transmission had been sent to the Dragon Gods during the battle, giving them the coordinates of the Devil Kuei tribe's main body. This was the root cause of the Devil Kuei tribe's defeat. This was a huge headache for the upper echelon experts of the Devil Fiend tribe. Why had they encountered such a situation? Where did the voice transmission come from? Was it a martial artist from another tribe? Was it a foreign aid invited by the Dragon Gods? Or, was it a martial artist of the Dragon Gods with special powers who had just awakened? The experts of the Devil Fiend Legion had no idea what was going on, so they urgently discussed it with the other experts of the higher echelons. At this time, Kong Shinmu was not enjoying the people's celebration in the Soaring Dragon Fortress. Instead, under the guidance of Deputy General Qing Lin, he went to another foreign fortress that was fighting against the Devil Kuei tribe. Here, the Devil Kuei tribe was also attacking a foreign fortress. The defense of the Dragon Martial Fortress was very difficult, but with Kong Shinmu's arrival, it could be said that it was like a hot knife through butter. In 2 hours, the Devil Kuei tribe army lost 1,000 people. In the 4th hour, the Devil Kuei tribe army had made tactical adjustments, so more than 700 people had died. But in the 6th hour, another 500 people had died. After 6 hours, the Devil Kuei tribe army did not dare to continue fighting, and the Devil Kuei tribe in this foreign fortress also retreated. Then, Deputy General Qing Lin led Kong Shinmu to the next fortress without stopping. Now, Kong Shinmu finally understood the meaning of speed is the most important thing in war. Because they had fled so quickly, the Devil Kuei tribe martial artists did not have time to react. This allowed Kong Shinmu to defeat the Devil Kuei tribe army 3 times in a row on the battlefield of the 3 foreign fortresses. Deputy General Qing Lin was astonished by this battle record. Jiang Shenwu's ability was a priceless treasure against the Devil Fiend tribe's legion. If he could continue like this, it was very likely that the Devil Kuei tribe army would be completely forced to retreat, and they would be forced to withdraw from this war. Chapter 50-52. The speed at which Kong Shinmu attacked was completely beyond the Devil Kuei tribe's expectations. Before the Devil Kuei tribe could react, Kong Shinmu had already rushed to the battlefields of several outland strongholds. On the battlefields of the Devil Kuei tribe, he dealt a heavy blow to the Devil Kuei tribe's army. This series of blows lasted for less than 3 days. As a result, the Devil Kuei tribe's army in all the strongholds retreated, temporarily holing up near the small world spatial fragment where their outland strongholds were located. The spatial fragment had appeared in the outland small world of the dragon gods at the same time, giving the four races a chance to take advantage of it. From the start of the war until now, the spatial fragment had basically been occupied by the four races. So when the Devil Kuei tribe retreated, they only retreated to another part of the outland small world. They did not completely leave the outland small world. This was normal. The war had lasted for a long time. If the Devil Kuei tribe retreated just like that, they would not be able to give the other three races a good explanation. But now, it was absolutely impossible for the Devil Kuei tribe to attack the outland strongholds again. Their losses were too great. In just 3 days, the total number of Devil Kuei tribe members killed in the outland strongholds had reached 30,000. Of course, part of this was due to Jiang Shenwu's efforts, but a large part was due to Jiang Shenwu's actions, which had completely disrupted the Demon Leader clan's strategic deployment. Thus, the Dragon God clan's army had seized a good opportunity while the Demon Leader clan's army was in a panic, and they had achieved even greater results. And the hero of all this was Kang Shinmu. In the Soaring Dragon stronghold, Kang Shinmu returned to the place where the war against the Devil Kuei tribe began. He was in a restaurant, and there were two people in front of him. One was Deputy General Qing Lin, and the other was Emoya. Both Deputy General Qing Lin and Emoya now looked at Kang Shinmu in a new light. Originally, Deputy General Qing Lin had only proposed an idea, but unexpectedly, Kang Shinmu had completed it beyond his expectations, causing the Devil Kuei tribe to suffer heavy losses. Kang Shinmu, I didn't expect you to have done such a great service this time. Emoya's gentle voice came from under her veil. It was obvious that she was in a good mood. The contribution you've made in this battle is probably comparable to the total contribution you've made in the past few months. Not bad. Deputy General Qing Lin smiled and nodded. This battle result is too good. It's even possible that the Demon Fiend's tribe will never recover. Now that they're holed up in the camp on the other side of the spatial rift, there's no need for us to chase after them, lest we fall into their trap. However, since they don't dare to attack for the time being, we can send some people to help the other fortresses. This time, a total of 15 Outer Realm fortresses can be freed up, and at least 15 Supreme Experts can be dispatched. In this way, we can completely catch the other races off guard, and increase the results of the battle. What Deputy General Qing Lin said had nothing to do with Kang Shinmu. Senior, you flatter me. I'm just doing what I'm supposed to do. Kang Shinmu smiled. Of course, it would be best if I could get some rewards for this. Of course. Deputy General Qing Lin nodded matter-of-factly. You've done such a great service this time, I believe your master will ask for some good rewards from the upper echelons of the dragon gods. Moya smiled gently and said, at the very least, your year-long training in the stronghold can end prematurely. The reward this time will even allow you to obtain enough Dubhe stone liquid, as well as sufficient cultivation resources. Kang Shinmu nodded. He roughly knew how great the impact of his actions this time was. After restraining the Devil Kuei clan, the dragon gods could even expand the results of the battle and support the other battlefields, reaping great rewards. This time around, if this matter was handled properly, they might really be able to end this war. At that time, Jiang Shenwu would become a great hero. But there was nothing Kang Shinmu could do now. He was only strong against the Devil Kuei clan, and if the Devil Kuei clan hid, there was nothing Kang Shinmu could do. So he simply stopped thinking about it. Next, he would wait for news in the Soaring Dragon Fortress, and also stay here to guard, in case the Devil Kuei clan's army suddenly launched a surprise attack. If that happened, things would not be fun. Why don't I think about what rewards I need? Kang Shinmu thought about it and felt that this was a good idea. The rewards he could get would definitely not be small. So first, he had to gather all the materials for the formless weapon. Previously, Kang Shinmu's idea was to create a formless weapon with 9 different battle patterns. But now, perhaps he could create 10? With one more battle pattern, the formless weapon he created would have one more change, and it would be able to adapt to a special environment. This might bring him great benefits in the future. Of course, he would need to pay more materials. Previously, Huang Shanke had said that a total of 91 portions of Dubhe stone liquid were needed to forge a formless weapon with 9 battle runes. However, if Jiang Shenwu wanted to forge a formless weapon with 10 battle runes, he would need a total of 140 portions of Dubhe stone liquid. In other words, Kang Shinmu would need to pay an additional 1 million gold dragon coins worth of Dubhe stone liquid. Where could he buy Dubhe stone liquid? Kang Shinmu could naturally use his achievement points to exchange for it. Kang Shinmu believed that even if he exchanged for this amount of Dubhe stone liquid, he would still have a lot of achievement points left. In this way, Kang Shinmu could consider removing the mark on his Starry Sky Small World. The Starry Sky Small World wasn't just a small world, it was also a sacred item. Therefore, once the mark of the Starry Sky Small World was removed, Kang Shinmu could even use it against his enemies and unleash extremely strong power. If the mark was not removed, the power of the Starry Sky Small World would be equivalent to the power of a peak Emperor-level powerhouse. Once the first mark was removed, it would be equivalent to the power of a level 5 Supreme God. And if the second mark was removed, it would be equivalent to the power of a peak Supreme God. Kang Shinmu was considering whether he could remove 2 of the marks of the Starry Sky Small World. If that was the case, he would have the guarantee to fight against a peak Supreme God. Although it was only his own power, it would be his strongest power at the moment. The key now was that he didn't know how the battle would develop. Therefore, Kang Shinmu's credit for this operation had not been determined. Chapter 50-53. Now, Kang Shinmu had a lot of choices. However, he still needed to think about what to choose. In short, Kang Shinmu was free for the time being, and there was nothing else he needed to do. His tense heartstrings could finally relax a little, and he quietly observed the development of the situation. While Kang Shinmu was waiting for the overall situation of the dragon gods to develop, he stayed in the Soaring Dragon Fortress to cultivate and consolidate his cultivation. He needed to completely consolidate his peak Emperor-level power. As for Gu Xinyue and the other 3, they returned to the Starry Sky Small World and began to prepare, like Kang Shinmu, to break through to the 3rd level of the power of the Starry Sky. At this stage, even Gu Xinyue and Chu Yueqiang mainly cultivated the power of the Starry Sky. After all, the 2 women's peak Emperor-level power of the dragon gods had already been completely consolidated. If they didn't want to break through, there was no need to spend too much effort on it. Anyway, Kang Shinmu hadn't broken through yet, and for Gu Xinyue and Chu Yueqiang, they didn't want to break through first. Otherwise, if there was another mid-level relic that could only be entered by those below the Transcendent Realm, they wouldn't be able to go with Kang Shinmu. 3 months later. The overall situation of the war between the dragon gods and the 4 clans was completely reversed after Kang Shinmu caused the Devil Leader clan army to suffer heavy losses. Originally, the dragon gods had been relying on their fortress to defend against the joint attack of the 4 clans. But as the Devil Leader clan army retreated with heavy losses, the dragon gods launched a surprise attack. They gathered the mighty dragon warriors, who were fighting against the Devil Fiend race's army in the stronghold, and formed a quick-action team of 15 people. These 15 supreme experts were dragon martial artists. As long as they didn't encounter the other party's supreme army, they were basically invincible. If the Devil Leader clan army hadn't retreated, they wouldn't have been able to mobilize so many people. But now, these 15 supreme dragon martialists had gone directly to the other outland fortresses, gathered together, and launched a fatal attack on the attacking armies of the 4 races. In one of the outworld fortresses that were fighting against the Demon God clan, a team of 15 supreme experts launched a surprise attack and killed 2 supreme experts of the Demon God clan, as well as at least 30,000 cultivators of the Demon God clan's army in the outworld fortresses. This was a victory against the demon gods. Before the other party could even react, 2 supreme powerhouses were besieged and killed by 15 dragon martial artists of the same level. Although the news had been sent out, the other party could not send reinforcements in time. 2 supreme demon god clan powerhouses and 3 10,000-strong demon god legions were annihilated just like that. The demon god clan's territory in the outland stronghold was immediately cleared, and the supreme expert who originally guarded that stronghold led people to guard the Void Rift. And this was only one of the raids. In the first month after Kong Shinmu defeated the Devil Leader clan army, this team of 15 supreme experts launched 6 raids. The Demon God clan, the Talisman Water clan, and the Emperor Bat clan were all attacked by these 15 supreme experts, and suffered heavy casualties. In total, at least 10 supreme experts and more than 100,000 cultivators from the various races had died. Including the Devil Leader clan, the 4 races had suffered heavy losses. The terrible losses made the 4 races feel a little scared. When they learned that the cause of the incident was that the Devil Leader clan army had been restrained by some method of the dragon gods, and could not continue to attack the dragon gods' outworld fortresses, they were completely speechless about the Devil Leader clan's defeat. But there was nothing they could do. The other 3 races even joined forces with the Devil Leader clan to reorganize the attack on the Soaring Dragon Fortress. But the 15 supreme experts appeared directly above the Soaring Dragon Fortress, and once again defeated the opposing army. Of the 70,000 to 80,000 Devil Leader clan army and allied army, at least 30,000 to 40,000 people died. This was the true meaning of a river of blood. If the supreme experts began to slaughter the emperor-level and supreme god-level cultivators, it would be as easy as cutting vegetables. It was too easy. Unfortunately, they had been suppressed and held back all this time, and could not go and help. After all, the other side had a lot of supreme experts, and they were basically watching them closely. But now, the Devil Leader clan's retreat gave the dragon gods a great opportunity. Now that the Devil Leader clan had realized that something was wrong, and that there was a problem with their strategy, they still did not dare to launch a large-scale attack on the outworld fortresses. Because they still could not find out why they had been beaten so badly and suffered such heavy losses. Although the other 3 races had joined forces to put pressure on the Devil Leader clan to quickly attack the dragon gods' outworld fortresses, they had to use the lives of their own people to buy time, and they were far from victory. How could they be willing to do anything? As a result, the 15 Supreme Warriors became the Mobile Force team members. Once there was a battle, they would go directly to help. And so, 3 months later, the 4 races finally could not bear the pressure. Because as more and more of their supreme experts were killed, more and more supreme experts from the dragon god side were released, and they could be distributed. At first, there were 15 supreme expert squads. But soon it became 18, 20, and finally, after 3 months, it became a 24-man squad. Other than a few supreme experts who needed to guard some checkpoints, many of the released supreme-level powerful dragon warriors all joined this mobile squad and began to run on the battlefield, killing enemy clansmen one after another. Blood flowed like a river. The events that had taken place in the past 3 months had almost completely exhausted the advantages that the 4 major races had accumulated. The Devil Leader clan did not dare to attack rashly, and could only guard near the void crack. And the dragon gods did not pay attention to the Devil Leader clan's army. As for the Fu Shui clan, the dragon gods also threw out a big secret. Qi Yan, the princess of one of the Fu Shui clan tribes, was in the hands of the dragon gods. This news spread, and there was internal conflict among the Fu Shui clan. The other royal families did not intend to kill Qi Yan, and wanted to directly attack the dragon gods. But the royal family that Qi Yan belonged to did not want to give up, and hoped to stop the war. Because Qi Yan was the most talented person in the young generation of their royal family, she could not fall on such a battlefield. Originally, the four races attacked the dragon gods because it was profitable, and at that time, the void crack had suddenly opened. They thought they could take advantage of it and gain a lot of benefits. But now it seemed. After the war reached a stalemate, the dragon gods found an opportunity to attack them. Chapter 50-54. After all, up until now, the four major races had not gained anything from the war. Moreover, so many people had died one after another. How could they not want to retreat? The losses were too great, and the four major races could not bear it. The leaders of the four major races did not mind the deaths of these people. There were inevitably some sacrifices in war, but the key was that they had not gained anything, which was terrible. Moreover, after this great loss, there were more and more voices of opposition within the four major races. These voices of opposition put a lot of pressure on the leaders of the four major races. Although most of the voices of opposition came from the people, many nobles also began to oppose this war. Originally, these nobles of the four major races had agreed to this war because they could get some benefits after the war. They had even paid a lot of price and resources for this. But now, their losses were too great, to the point where they could not bear it anymore. Many of the nobles' private legions had been sacrificed in this war, and there were also people like Qi Yan, who had been captured or even killed in the war. This caused a lot of internal conflict among the four major races. Of course, it was impossible for the four great races to be completely united. Originally, they might have been able to temporarily work together because they had common interests and goals. But now, as Jiang Shenwu started the massacre of the Demon Fiend Race Legion, the losses of the four great races had reached a critical point. This critical point caused the voices of opposition within the four major races to grow louder and louder, and the leaders could not suppress it anymore. A temporary truce was the decision made by the leaders of the four major races. How could the dragon gods let go of such an opportunity? Kong Xinmu, you have a new mission. Deputy General Qing Lin once again found Kong Xinmu. After these 3 months, the situation of the dragon gods was very good. Deputy General Qing Lin smiled and found Kong Xinmu, who was cultivating. We urgently need a victory. The Devil Leader Clan Legion of the Soaring Dragon Fortress is still stationed around the Void Fissure and has not retreated. This time, the Soaring Dragon Fortress intends to join forces with the other 2 fortresses to attack the Devil Leader Clan Legion together. We will take the elite route and kill the leader. Deputy General Qing Lin explained a little and Kong Xinmu understood what he meant. It turned out that this time, the 3 strongholds had joined forces and sent out most of their elites. Then, with Kong Xinmu leading the way, they would go and destroy the Devil Fiend tribe's base. According to the information, there were 2 supreme experts in the army of the Devil Fiends in the small world of the Soaring Dragon Stronghold. These 2 supreme experts would be led away by the 2 supreme commanders of the Soaring Dragon Fortress. After they were lured away, Kong Xinmu and the others attacked the camp of the Devil Fiends Legion. Of course, most of the devil puppets were in the camp of the Devil Chieftain Legion. No one knew where the true bodies of the Devil Chieftain Legion were hiding. They might be resting in their devil puppets, or they might be gathering in someone else's devil puppet, so they needed Kong Xinmu's help. Of course, Kong Xinmu had no objections. Obviously, this was something that would bring great benefits to Kong Xinmu. He agreed without any hesitation. 3 days later, the operation began. Kong Xinmu followed the elite experts of the Soaring Dragon Fortress. They were mainly high-level supreme gods. There were also some high-level supreme gods from the dragon gods from the other 2 strongholds. There were more than 30 deputy generals who had reached the 7th level of the supreme god realm. Together, these people were enough to flatten the base camp of the Devil Leader clan. Of course, apart from these Dragon Gods clan experts who were at the Transcendent God level 7 and above, there were also 120 mid-level Transcendent Gods level 4 to level 6 experts. These experts planned to help out this time. They were also in charge of logistics, scouting for information and information about the enemy. They would also monitor the surroundings and pass on information. After all, on the battlefield, information was the most important thing. Their operation began in secret, and the Devil Chieftain Legion did not receive any news at all. It was not until the two supreme commanders of the Devil Chieftain Legion were lured away that Kong Shinmu and the others finally appeared in the camp of the Devil Chieftain Legion. Suddenly, the nightmare of the Devil Chieftain Legion began. Originally, even if they were ambushed by the experts of the Dragon Gods, how could such a small number of Dragon Gods destroy more than 100,000 devil puppets? But now, they had Kong Shinmu with them. Kong Shinmu's sensory abilities allowed him to find them accurately. The aura of the Devil Chieftain Legion could not be hidden from him at all. As Jiang Shenwu sensed the existence of the main bodies of the Devil Chiefs one after another, some of the main bodies of the Devil Chiefs had gathered in some devil puppets and were having a gathering. However, they were all captured by the warriors of the Dragon Gods. This time, there were 30 experts who were at the 7th level of the Supreme God Realm and above in the team. These 30 people all gave Kong Shinmu a thumbs up. Without a doubt, Kong Shinmu's sensory abilities were too powerful. There was no way for the Devil Chieftain Legion to escape. The Supreme Commanders had been lured away. Even if they discovered the abnormality in the camp, they could not escape and return so quickly. Therefore, it was time for a massacre. In an instant, the camp of the Devil Chieftain Legion erupted with incomparably pitiful cries. As Jiang Shenwu found more and more locations of the Devil Fiend race's main bodies, the Devil Fiend race's encampment was filled with blood. Countless Devil Fiend race cultivators didn't even know how they died. The commotion in the camp had alerted the entire Devil Chieftain Legion, but they could not do anything. Right now, Kong Shinmu and the others were deep inside the camp. The 50,000 to 60,000 of them wanted to gather together and activate the defensive formation, but they could not do so. This was because the defensive formation could not defend against the enemies inside and around them. Only when one's own people gathered together could they activate the defensive array formation. In such a chaotic situation, it was impossible to activate any large-scale defensive formations. As a result, Kong Shinmu and the others were like fish in water. The 8th level Devil Chieftain Legion's main body, killed. The 9th level Devil Chieftain Legion's main body, killed. These powerful Devil Chieftain Legion's main bodies could not hide their auras in front of Kong Shinmu. Once they were found by Kong Shinmu, they would be surrounded and attacked. More than 30 Dragon Gods of the Dragon Gods rushed forward. The enemy did not even have time to react before they died. Chapter 50-55. In this battle, the other side had not been able to organize a proper counterattack. It was not until the two Supreme Masters were about to return that Jiang Shenwu and the others decided to retreat. The Dragon Gods couldn't hold on any longer. When they left, there were already tens of thousands of devil puppets in the Devil Chief's camp. They had lost their ability to move and were lying paralyzed on the ground. These 10,000 devil puppets had been condensed from the true bodies of the dead devil chieftains. When their masters had been killed, these devil puppets had become useless. At most, they had become nutrients for the other devil chieftains, or cultivation resources for them. In other words, the Devil Chief's army had suffered heavy losses this time. When the two supreme experts returned, they were horrified to find that all the people under their banner had been slaughtered. Deputy generals above the 7th level of the Transcendent God level? Not a single one was left. They had all been found and killed. Deputy generals between the 4th and 6th level of the Transcendent God level? There were a few left, mainly because there was not enough time. Kong Shinmu and the others had to retreat. But besides that, Kang Xinmu and the others had killed more than 2,000 people between the 7th level of the Transcendent God level to the 3rd level of the Transcendent God level. As for the other devil chiefs who had been affected, they had not been counted. Of course, at least 1 or 2,000 of these weaker soldiers had been killed. Originally, Jiang Shenwu's goal was not to kill these devil chieftain pawns. However, when they wanted to kill the deputy generals, these pawns were right next to them. In that case, they would naturally kill them along the way. They would not waste any time at all. 6 hours after they set off, Kang Xinmu and the others returned in triumph. After this trip, the Devil Fiend Legion's combat power in the Soaring Dragon Stronghold's small world was almost completely wiped out. Most of the high-ranking combat power had already been wiped out. They did not have the ability to launch any more attacks on the fort. And in this battle, Kang Xinmu's sensitive perception was amazing to the extreme. Everyone knew that it was extremely difficult to find the main body of the devil chiefs, but to Kang Xinmu, it was as easy as eating and drinking. He could sense the location of the main body of the devil chiefs. This was simply astonishing. In other words, he was the greatest bane of the Devil King tribe. Such a terrifying ability made it impossible for the main body of the devil chiefs to escape. They were like turtles in a jar. After returning, everyone held a celebration banquet for Kang Xinmu. In this way, the powerful deputy generals, and even the commander-in-chief of the Soaring Dragon Fortress all got to know Jiang Xinwu, the genius young dragon martialist, and admired him greatly. The Soaring Dragon Fortress had already given Jiang Xinwu all the Heaven's Core stone liquid they had. Not only that, they had also given him a lot of achievement points. These achievement points could be exchanged for at least 500,000 gold dragon coins worth of cultivation resources. But there was still no news from Emperor Shi's side, mainly because the battle was not over yet. It was not yet time for Kang Xinmu to be rewarded according to his merits. Perhaps Emperor Shi had not even mentioned it. After all, who knew if Kang Xinmu would make more contributions in the future? That way, if he wanted rewards, he would have more resources and reasons. Just like this time, he had directly helped the Dragon Chiefs defeat the middle and upper echelons of the Devil Chief's army, almost completely annihilating them. Only Kang Xinmu could achieve such a shocking result. If not for Kang Xinmu, even a powerful expert like Deputy General Qing Lin would not have survived if he had fallen into the enemy camp of the Devil Chief's army. No matter how strong he was, he would not have been able to find the main body of the enemy expert. He would have been easily exhausted and killed. Kang Xinmu had become the nightmare of the Devil Chiefs. After the celebration banquet, Kang Xinmu went to rest. Next, he followed the prescribed order and continued to consolidate his cultivation strength. Although his dragon god's cultivation had reached the peak of the emperor level, the real combat power that he could exert was still not complete. Over the past 3 months, he had been consolidating his strength through the devouring power and some actual combat training with the dragon martial artists of the army. Of course, his opponents were all peak emperor-level dragon martial artists. These dragon martial artists were basically no match for Jiang Xinwu. However, if Jiang Xinwu were to fight them with the cultivation of the Dragon God clan at the peak of the Emperor stage, he would still be able to obtain a lot of benefits, which had a good effect on consolidating his strength. So, Kang Xinmu continued to consolidate his strength for 3 months. In these 3 months, he had completely consolidated his cultivation as a peak Emperor-level Dragon God. He could exert 100% of the strength of a peak Emperor-level Dragon God. In this state, he was confident that he could break through to the level of Super Shenron in one go. Of course, he still had no intention of breaking through. After all, his combat power had reached the 4th level of the Transcendent God realm. With the inheritance of the Starry Sky, he did not particularly need the improvement of the Dragon Gods. He still wanted to try and see if he could enter another intermediate relic before breaking through to Super Shenron. For the current Kang Xinmu, an advanced relic was still too ambitious. For Kang Shinmu, however, an intermediate relic was like a treasure trove full of treasures. Kang Shinmu even planned to go to some permanent intermediate relic. These permanent intermediate relic were basically explored by the experts of the various races. They were always open and explored, but there were still many secrets that had not been fully explored. Entering such an intermediate relic meant fighting with the strongest peak emperor-level experts of the other races. Whether it was the war weapon or the martial arts techniques that the other party possessed, they were definitely the strongest peak emperor-level experts. Moreover, he had cultivated them to the point of perfection. His compatibility with the war weapon had also reached the peak. With such combat power, he could easily deal with ordinary first-level transcendent god realm experts. For Kang Shinmu, if he encountered such an old fellow, it would definitely be very difficult to deal with. The other party was definitely rich in combat experience. It was impossible for him to be defeated by Kang Shinmu so easily. These old fellows had lived for so long. Even if their combat power was not strong, they definitely had their own set of survival rules. In an intermediate relic, how could they be so easily killed by a junior? Therefore, Kang Shinmu still wanted to challenge them. Moreover, in the permanent intermediate relic, many powerful existences had been unearthed. For example, there had been some 9-layer engravings of heaven and earth sacred items. They had become the treasures of the various races and could protect the race for a long time. Chapter 50-56. If it was a permanent relic, there was no need to wait for it to open. The dragon gods controlled dozens of intermediate permanent relic, 7 of which were completely controlled by the dragon gods, and the rest were jointly controlled with other races. The intermediate relic that was jointly controlled was more difficult to explore, because there would be cultivators of other races to stop them. But if it was a permanent relic that was completely controlled by the dragon gods, it had basically been explored, and there was nothing good to get. After all, without the interference of other races, the dragon gods could completely arrange dragon warriors to form small teams to enter, and it would be easier to explore if they cooperated with each other. The more complicated the environment, the more difficult it was to explore, the deeper the treasure was. A permanent relic that was jointly controlled by multiple races was naturally Kang Shinmu's goal. Of course, this also had to wait until his formless weapon was truly forged. However, even if the formless weapon is forged, it will be a supreme divine level dragon weapon. As for the supreme divine dragon weapon, I have not yet broken through to the supreme divine level in terms of the inheritance of the dragon gods. This also meant that after Kang Shinmu obtained the formless weapon, the power he could exert was not strong, maybe only 30% of its power. But even if it was only 30% of the power, the ability of the formless weapon would not be weaker than the Great Sorrow Heavenly Dragon Seal, Phantom Ghost Book, and other heaven-level Holy Spirit Dragon weapons. Everything had to wait for Master Huang Shanke to forge it. The next thing was to wait. But the wait didn't last long. Soon, Deputy General Qing Lin found Kang Shinmu and asked Kang Shinmu to go back to the fortress of Iron Phoenix where Emperor Shi was. Kang Shinmu knew that there was news about Emperor Shi, so he said goodbye to Deputy General Qing Lin and returned to the fortress of Iron Phoenix with Emoya. In the fortress of Iron Phoenix, Emoya and Kang Shinmu appeared together in the city lord's residence. Emperor Shi, we are back. Emoya walked in front. Under her white clothes was a perfect slender figure. She seemed very relaxed in front of Emperor Shi. Their relationship should be quite good. Of course, Kang Shinmu already knew this. Moya, thank you for your hard work. Did this guy give you any trouble? The voice of the divine dragon of Emperor Shi came from the main hall. Jiang Shenwu followed and walked forward. He saw Emperor Shi's divine dragon dressed in red. On her extremely beautiful face, there was a faint smile that seemed to be there but wasn't. Emoya shook her head and gently said, "No. He's very sensible." Sensible? Kang Xinmu didn't know why Moya would use this word to describe him. He felt that Moya was treating him like a child. Kang Xinmu didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Kang Xinmu, welcome back safely. Emperor Shi sized up Kang Xinmu and pursed his lips into a smile. He then said, "You have done well in this expedition. Now that the war is about to end, the 4 races are about to retreat from our outland stronghold. Of course, the Fu Shui clan has raised a condition for you to release Princess Qi Yan. The negotiations of the other 3 races have nothing to do with you. But for the Fu Shui clan, they are only unwilling to release Princess Qi Yan." Kang Xinmu listened and nodded. He asked, "Then, Master, what do you mean?" "What I mean is, not to release her." Emperor Shi unexpectedly gave an answer. He smiled slightly and said, "This is a trump card when you meet the Fu Shui clan in the future. Now that the Fu Shui clan is unwilling to release her, let them be. As long as the other 3 races retreat, can the Fu Shui clan still threaten us?" Kang Xinmu couldn't help but be stunned by this answer. Amazing. This move was going to infuriate the Fu Shui clan. If the other 3 races retreat, the dragon gods wouldn't need to give any benefits. If they retreat, it can be considered that they are begging us. Emperor Shi smiled and said, "If they don't retreat, we can completely drive them away. We just want to save some trouble, so we accepted their request to negotiate. No matter what, they have to compensate us with a lot of things. As for Princess Qi Yan, you don't need to return her. Just keep the princess. Maybe she will be of special use in the future." "Okay." Kang Xinmu nodded. Originally, he thought that Princess Qi Yan might be taken away by the upper echelons of the dragon gods and then used to exchange for hostages with the Fu Shui clan. Now it seemed that the dragon gods were quite strong and didn't need her. This war ended so quickly, and our dragon gods received a huge amount of resources as compensation, Emperor Shi said with a smile. Emperor Shi smiled and said, "This is all because you were the first to defeat the army of the devil fiend race. So, I have already applied for rewards that match this time's merits. You can choose cultivation resources worth a total of 80 million gold dragon coins. Of course, you can't convert them into gold dragon coins, because this time, the compensation of the other 3 races was also paid with cultivation resources." Hearing this, Kang Xinmu held his breath. It was a little hard for him to imagine how much the 4 races had paid in order to retreat safely this time. If they didn't pay compensation, they would at least have to pay hundreds of thousands of lives in the small world of the dragon god's outer domain fortress. So, this was spending money to avoid disaster. As some of the supreme cultivators of the 4 races were killed, they had completely collapsed. In some of the small worlds of the outer domain fortress, they couldn't escape even if they wanted to. The cracks in the space were already controlled by the dragon gods. The foreign armies that invaded the small worlds of the outer domain fortress were instead driven away. They lived in fear in the small worlds of the outer domain fortress. If these people wanted to leave, they had to rely on the smooth negotiations of their own races. Otherwise, they would definitely be trapped in the small worlds of the outer domain fortress. Emperor Shi alone had 180 million gold dragon coins of cultivation resources for Kang Xinmu. This amount shocked Kang Xinmu. "Are you scared?" Seeing this, Emperor Shi couldn't help but cover his mouth and chuckle. When the 4 races paid compensation, the resources were deducted at a 50% discount. But when you are rewarded, it is given at the original price. So, you don't have to be too excited. Moreover, although so many cultivation resources sound like a lot, for you who have a small world, it is nothing at all. Have a small world? Hearing this, Kang Xinmu was shocked. Could it be that Emperor Shi already knew? The matter of the small world of the starry sky was a big secret to Kang Xinmu, don't be surprised. Chapter 50-57. Kang Xinmu reacted. It was true. Recently, he had been training in the outer domain small world, and there were often situations where he would ask Gu Xinyue and the others to come out directly. If this happened many times, others would inevitably think that he had obtained a small world. Moreover, Princess Qi Yan had not been found until now. Even after she was captured by Kang Xinmu, she had never appeared in front of the public. So Emperor Shi Mystical Dragon guessed that Kang Xinmu had a small world. Kang Xinmu understood this and did not say anything. Emperor Shi Mystical Dragon was not a threat to him. As long as outsiders were not so sure, it was fine. And to be honest, Emperor Shi Mystical Dragon was only guessing. Unless Kang Xinmu admitted it himself, Emperor Shi Mystical Dragon was not very sure if Kang Xinmu had a small world or if he had some other means. Such special means of hiding people did not only exist in small worlds. Kang Xinmu, don't worry. This guess is only known by our own people. Emperor Shi Mystical Dragon glanced at Emoya and said with a chuckle, "It's only because Emoya has always been by your side that I can sense it so clearly. If it were anyone else, they would at most make a guess, and they would only have less than 30% confidence. In this case, they will not harm you, as long as you do not expose yourself in the future. If you want to raise a small world, you need a lot of cultivation resources." Moreover, Emoya also sensed that you have a heaven and earth sacred treasure on you. There are many layers of heaven and earth sacred treasures. If you want to unseal it, you will need a lot of resources. Kang Xinmu was suddenly shocked. He did not expect that Emoya's observation skills were so detailed that she could even see the small world and the heaven and earth sacred treasure. But fortunately, she did not know that the small world and the heaven and earth sacred treasure were the same thing. Generally speaking, the entrance to the small world and the heaven and earth sacred treasure were separated. Emoya obviously did not think too much about it. So, she did not know that Kang Xinmu's starry sky small world was the heaven and earth sacred treasure itself. Therefore, you need a lot of cultivation resources. I'll give you a list of the cultivation materials needed to unseal the Saint Grade seal. You can use this list to compare it with your heaven and earth Saint Grade item and analyze its attributes. Then, you will know what materials you need to unseal it. Based on my initial estimation, it would take 3 million gold dragon coins worth of cultivation resources to unlock the first layer of the seal. Unlocking the second layer of the seal required 10 million gold dragon coins. As for the third layer, it will cost 30 million gold dragon coins. Kang Xinmu had guessed this number before, but this was the first time he heard about it, so he was a little shocked. With so many cultivation resources, apart from a single race, it would be very difficult for an individual to come up with so many. Of course, this was only relatively common for practitioners below the Supreme Master level. If it was a Supreme Cultivator like Emperor Shi and the Divine Dragon, even if they were alone, they should have the ability to directly unseal 4 or 5 layers of the seals. Of course, that would only make Emperor Shi and the Divine Dragon go bankrupt. I fought for these 80 million gold dragon coins worth of cultivation resources for you. Of course, I also added my own achievement points. I hope you can grow quickly. Emperor Shi said, I suggest that you try to let Huang Shanka forge a true supreme divine dragon weapon, the formless weapon. Spend tens of millions of gold dragon coins to buy the Dubhe stone liquid and gather 361 portions. Then, you can forge a formless weapon with 12 different battle patterns. A formless weapon with 12 different battle patterns was undoubtedly very attractive to Kang Xinmu. Now, he already had 70 to 80 portions of the Dubhe stone liquid. If he wanted to gather 361 portions, he would need to spend about 50 million gold dragon coins worth of resources. With the resources and financial resources of the entire divine dragon race, they could naturally help him gather 361 portions of the Dubhe stone liquid. But it would not be easy. Therefore, Emperor Shi told Kong Shinmu to make a decision earlier so that he could ask the higher-ups to help him gather it earlier. As for the remaining 30 million gold dragon coins, to Kong Shinmu, he would naturally use it to unseal the starry small world, which was this heaven and earth saint item. A heaven and earth saint item could be used for a critical strike at a critical moment. Its lethality was extremely strong, and as the number of layers unsealed increased, it could even kill supreme existences in seconds. Therefore, Kong Shinmu definitely had to nurture this item well. Okay, then I will listen to Master and gather 361 portions of the Dubhe stone liquid. Now, I still need 278 portions of the Dubhe stone liquid. Kong Shinmu checked the amount of the Dubhe stone liquid on him and said to Emperor Shi. Okay, I will inform the higher-ups and ask them to gather it. Emperor Shi's divine dragon smiled. By the way, Master, I want to find a permanent mid-level relic and go there to train. I want to see if I can get any more opportunities. Kong Shinmu continued, after exploring it, I plan to break through to the super divine dragon realm. A permanent mid-level relic. Go back and rest for 2 days. I will ask Moya to gather some information for you. You can choose one. Emperor Shi pondered for a moment and then nodded in agreement. Kong Shinmu bowed and said, Thank you, Master. I will probably go with 2 friends. I hope Master can apply for 2 more spots. A permanent mid-level relic. The higher-ups are eager for more people to go. Emperor Shi shook his head and said, You can bring as many people as you want. Of course, it is extremely dangerous. I hope you will be careful when you enter. The people you bring with you should not be too weak. Otherwise, they will not even have the ability to protect themselves. It is basically impossible to come out alive. Yes, I understand. Kong Shinmu nodded. Of course, he was clear about this. Even those ordinary mid-level relic were so dangerous, let alone the permanent mid-level relic. Not only did they face the danger of the relic itself, but there were also many old fellows from other races guarding the mid-level relic and constantly exploring it. Once they met, it would be a very dangerous situation. Either they killed the other party or they hid. However, hiding was not a solution either. In short, it was extremely dangerous. Kong Shinmu did not dare to be careless. Therefore, he left to rest. After Kong Shinmu left, Moya chatted with Emperor Shi. Emperor Shi, every permanent mid-level relic is extremely risky. How can you bear to let him go in and take the risk? Moya didn't seem to understand. Moya, you have been with him for so long. Don't you understand him? Chapter 50-58. Moya had been with Kong Shinmu for a long time recently, so she did understand Kong Shinmu a lot more. However, because of this, she was a little worried about Kong Shinmu. She was worried that after Kong Shinmu entered the middle-level relic, there would be no one to protect him. If something happened to him, she would not be able to help. Why, Moya, are you reluctant to let him go? Emperor Shi pursed his lips and laughed lightly. In this half a year, have you developed feelings for him? Nonsense. Moya was not shy. She retorted, I just see the shadow of my younger brother in him. Hearing this, Emperor Shi did not continue to tease her. Instead, he became serious and solemn. Moya, the dead cannot come back to life. I know you have always missed your younger brother, but he cannot come back. Kong Shinmu is Kong Shinmu. He has his own path in life. So, if he wants to go to the permanent middle-level relic this time, I will not stop him. However, it is indeed dangerous for him to enter the middle-level relic alone. Moya frowned slightly. None of the old fellows in the permanent middle-level relic are easy to deal with. It is a pity that we cannot go in and protect him. Of course, who said it is not possible? Emperor Shi narrowed his eyes. The permanent middle-level relic only has a limit on the level of the power of inheritance. There is no limit on the level of the power of nature. It is just that after entering, the power of nature will be suppressed. It is the same for Kong Shinmu and the others. If you really want to follow, you can still go in with them. However, if there is any danger, you will also have to bear the danger and face the danger with them. Wait until he decides which permanent relic to go to before you make your decision. Moya, I hope you can relax. Kong Shinmu naturally did not know the conversation between Moya and Emperor Shi after he left. Now, he would rest for 2 days and return to the Starry Sky Pocket World to see how Gu Xinyue and the others were cultivating. At the same time, he would inform them to go to the permanent middle-level relic together. They were all trying to reach the 3rd level of the Transcendent God inheritance. Although they were still very far away, everyone was improving very quickly. After all, they all had special cultivation resources prepared. 3 days later, Kong Shinmu saw Emperor Shi's mystical dragon once again, and then he saw Huang Shanke once again. 361 portions of Dubhe stone liquid had been gathered. The dragon gods had brought the Dubhe stone liquid to Emperor Shi and had left a quota of about 30 million gold dragon coins for materials and resources for Kong Shinmu. Next, Kong Shinmu needed to analyze the attributes of the Starry Sky Small World. As for the attributes, he had to refer them to the table of raw materials. Emperor Shi had already given Kong Shinmu the table, along with the information on the permanent middle-level relic. Kong Shinmu, next, Grandmaster Huang Shanke will forge a transcendent dragon weapon for you, the formless weapon. As for the next few days, you can read up on the information about the permanent mid-grade ruins. You can also study the materials needed to unlock the seal on your Heaven and Earth Saint-grade artifact. Kong Shinmu nodded in agreement to the arrangement of Emperor Shi's mystical dragon. Huang Shanke's face was full of emotion. I didn't expect this. I really didn't expect that Kong Shinmu could actually get so much Dubhe stone liquid in just half a year. I really didn't expect that he could make such a huge contribution on the battlefield. This kid is indeed not bad. Emperor Shi's mystical dragon's beautiful eyes were filled with satisfaction. And the higher-ups are still discussing to give him an honorary title. Although we don't know what it is for now, it definitely won't be too low. In this war, there are not many people who are qualified to receive honorary titles. In total, there are less than 100 people who are qualified to receive honorary titles, and many of them are just beginner honorary titles. If Kong Shinmu has this, the contributions he has made are enough to rank him in the top 10 of the entire dragon gods. In this war, among the dragon warriors who participated, there were many who were stronger than Kong Shinmu, but there were very few who had made as big a contribution as him. After all, Kong Shinmu had changed the direction of the entire war. This kind of contribution was indeed rare. To forge a dragon weapon for such a young hero, I am also honored. Huang Shanke laughed and said, Emperor Shi, I will forge it in your main hall now. I have already brought all the tools I need to forge dragon weapons. He was a 7th-level blacksmith, so it was normal for him to bring tools to forge dragon weapons with him. He had a small world with him. Although this small world was only a defective product, it could still allow living things to enter. He placed the forging furnace, tools, and materials for forging dragon weapons in that broken small world, and then he could go in and forge it himself. His small world could not be compared to Kong Shinmu's Starry Sky Small World. Kong Shinmu's Starry Sky Small World, with the unsealing of the layers, would become extremely vast. It was even a small world now, with a radius of 10,000 miles. As for Huang Shanke's small world, it was just a spatial fragment the size of a courtyard. However, it was a relatively stable spatial fragment that could allow living things to enter. Even so, it was already an extremely rare treasure in the dragon god's world. As for Kong Shinmu's small world, no one knew about it yet. Only Moya sensed it, and Emperor Shi had some guesses. Naturally, the two women would not spread this information. Next, Huang Shanke went to forge a super dragon weapon for Kang Xinmu. This formless dragon weapon was the strongest dragon weapon he had ever forged in his life. Naturally, he had to put 120% of his effort into it. Other than the Dubhe stone liquid, he even provided all the other materials himself, in order to forge a peerless dragon weapon. As for Kang Xinmu, he returned to his courtyard residence and began to study the information about the permanent middle-level relics. At the same time, according to the list of materials and attribute resources provided by Emperor Shi, he began to study what materials were needed to unlock the Starry Sky Small World seal. This was also an extremely complicated work. It was not that there could be no mistakes, but once there was a mistake, it meant that more materials were needed to make up for it. In order to save resources, Kang Xinmu had to analyze very accurately so that he could analyze the attributes of the Starry Sky Small World and the types and quantities of materials needed to unlock the seal in the most efficient way. Of course, in order to save time, Kang Xinmu thought of a way. He went directly to the outside of the Iron Phoenix Fortress to find some Talisman Shui clan practitioners who had not yet evacuated. Most of these Talisman Shui clan practitioners were gathered in one place, waiting for their clan to surrender and rescue. Chapter 50-59. The Fu Shui clan cultivators who were still staying in the Iron Phoenix Fortress basically did not have any experts. Of course, there were still many Supreme God level experts. Kang Xinmu could easily find Supreme God level 2 or 3 opponents. Now, the dragon gods were cleaning up these hidden Fu Shui clan invaders on a large scale. Of course, they did not want to kill them, but to capture them as captives. This would give them an advantage in the final negotiations. As for the Fu Shui clan invaders, they were hiding everywhere in the Iron Phoenix Fortress. Because the Supreme God level experts were already dead, they could only hide. If they fought on a large scale, they would only end up being sacrificed and captured. Therefore, hiding was their only choice. Unfortunately, in front of Kang Xinmu, hiding was of no use at all. Jiang Xinwu's sensory abilities were pushed to their limits. He immediately found a few Supreme God-level Talisman Water Tribe cultivators and used his Heaven's deficiency power to devour their time, turning it into his own. In just 3 days, Kang Xinmu had already spent close to a month. Then, he had figured out all the information about the permanent mid-level relics. Then, he compared the table about the Starry Sky attributes. Kang Xinmu had already analyzed the types of cultivation resources needed to unlock the seal of this small world. It really needs about 40 million gold dragon coins. Kang Xinmu was a little depressed. The resources needed to unlock the seal that Emperor Shi had mentioned were indeed more accurate. The first layer needed 3 million, the second layer needed 10 million, and the third layer needed 30 million. And now, Kang Xinmu only had a quota of 30 million cultivation resources. Even if he included the achievement points of the Dragon Fortress, he was still short by a lot. It seems that I can only unlock the Starry Sky Small World twice now. Kang Xinmu thought to himself. However, he was not in a hurry. Unlocking the seal could be done slowly. The cultivation resources needed were massive. It was even more impossible for him to unlock more layers of the seal so quickly. After all, it required the strength of the entire clan to unlock the 9th layer of the seal of the sacred treasure of heaven and earth. And Kang Xinmu could unlock the 12th layer of the Starry Sky Small World. This gave Kang Xinmu a headache. 3 days later, Kang Xinmu returned to the Fortress of Iron Phoenix and handed the list of cultivation resources that he had analyzed to Emperor Shi Divine Dragon. Then, the next day, Emperor Shi's mystical dragon exchanged for 30 million gold dragon coins worth of cultivation resources for him. After Jiang Xinwu obtained the cultivation resources, he first returned to the courtyard where he lived. He began preparing to remove the seal on the Starry Sky Small World. The Starry Sky Pocket World had a total of 12 layers of engravings, but Kang Xinmu only intended to unlock the first 2 layers of engravings. He wanted to see how big the Starry Sky Small World could expand after the seal was removed. Kang Xinmu knew the method to unlock the Saint-grade seal of heaven and earth. Every Saint-grade item had a different method of unsealing it. The method of unsealing the Starry Sky Minor World was recorded in one of the Starry Sky Minor World's Starry Sky Minor World's Starry Sky Sacred Hall. Kang Xinmu had studied it before. Hence, after obtaining the cultivation resources, he began to set up an array in his courtyard. In this array, Kang Xinmu continuously added 3 million gold dragon coins worth of cultivation resources in a certain order and attribute. The power of these materials was mixed into the array according to a certain ratio. Immediately after, Kang Xinmu placed the Starry Sky Small World in the center of the array and activated the array. With the activation of the array, Kang Xinmu could feel that the Starry Sky Small World was absorbing the various attributes of all the cultivation resources in the array. These resources of different attributes were directly integrated into the Starry Sky Small World according to a specific order. This was a small world and a saint-grade treasure of heaven and earth. Now, it finally ushered in the first moment of transformation. When the endless attributes of cultivation resources were absorbed into the Starry Sky Small World from the array, the Starry Sky Small World was also undergoing a huge change. The Starry Sky Small World that was originally tens of thousands of miles in circumference directly expanded outwards. Above the sky, more and more voids were being unearthed. This change, what a huge one! Gu Xinyue and the other 3 who were in the Starry Sky Small World were now looking around in disbelief. Looking out from the Starry Sky Sacred Palace in the Starry Sky Small World, one could see the endless attributes of the Starry Sky being activated in the surrounding void. As the external energy integrated into the Starry Sky Small World, the void of the entire Starry Sky Small World expanded. Originally, it was 10,000 miles in circumference. Now, the circumference had even reached 30,000 miles, directly expanding 3 times. And this was only the linear distance expanded by 3 times, the area directly expanded by 9 times, and the volume of the space directly expanded by 27 times. This Starry Sky Small World was originally already very large. On the mainland, there were many Starry Sky Sacred Palaces built for different cultivators of the Starry Sky inheritance to enter for research and use. But now, the areas that had been expanded were all flat plains. It was a barren land, quietly waiting for people to reclaim it. Does it mean that I need to migrate here? Kang Xinmu did not know whether to laugh or cry. However, this idea was not impossible. In the Dragon Martial Continent, there were many people who could not awaken to become dragon martial artists. For those people, Kang Xinmu might be able to let them enter the Starry Sky Small World and then absorb the Starry Sky inheritance power in the Starry Sky Small World to cultivate. Although this would not allow them to become super experts, after all, the cultivation resources in the Starry Sky Small World were limited. But as long as they could cultivate, they would be able to extend their lifespan and live a better life. Of course, it was not easy to say whether they would be willing to enter the Starry Sky Small World. After all, this was a barren world that no one had reclaimed, no matter what aspect of life it was not very convenient. Moreover, Kang Xinmu also discovered that after the Starry Sky Small World expanded, the crack that originally connected the front and back sides of the Starry Sky continent finally disappeared. And the advancement temple that originally allowed them to cultivate to break through to the supreme god level appeared on the ground. In other words, the front and back sides of the continent were completely separated. Something's not right. Although there is no natural path, it seems that we can go to the back side of the continent through the temple. The shadow creatures on the back side of the continent are very strong and can be opponents for the inheritors of the Starry Sky power to improve. Moreover, now Kang Xinmu finally discovered that the world on the back side of the Starry Sky continent seemed to contain a lot of mineral resources. These mineral resources contained the cultivation resources that the inheritors of the starry sky power needed to cultivate. In other words, this small world was still waiting for Kang Shinmu and the others to reclaim it. Chapter 50-60. When Kang Shinmu unlocked the first layer of the starry sky small world, the entire starry sky small world expanded by at least 3 times. And then, Kang Shinmu's unlocking of the seals did not stop. He directly began to unlock the second layer of the heaven and earth sacred grade formation. Kang Shinmu carved a more complicated second unlocking formation in the courtyard. Then, he integrated all the cultivation resources he had exchanged into this second formation. 10 million gold dragon coins worth of cultivation resources were all invested into this formation. Speaking of which, Jiang Shenwu was also quite surprised. Emperor Shi's divine dragon was actually able to help him obtain so many cultivation resources worth 80 million gold dragon coins as a reward. Although he had done a lot of things and even ended the war prematurely, Jiang Shenwu was still shocked. However, 80 million gold dragon coins wasn't a small sum. Even for a family like the Gu family in the 5 Extremes mysterious Eye City, 80 million gold dragon coins was enough for them to develop for 100 years. However, since they can give me so many cultivation resources, it means that the compensation they can get from the 4 major races is much more than this tree. Of the 80 million gold dragon coins worth of cultivation resources, the compensation will definitely not exceed 10%, Kang Shinmu thought to himself. Of course, even if it was only 10%, it was already an extremely great gain. If it weren't for Emperor Shi's divine dragon, Jiang Shenwu wouldn't even be able to get the cultivation resources worth 8 million gold dragon coins. This was the reality. If Kang Shinmu himself had no power and no backing, the higher-ups of the dragon gods would not have given him so many cultivation resources as a reward. Everything was fought for by Emperor Shi for Kang Shinmu. There might even be some difficulties involved. It was just that Emperor Shi and the Divine Dragon did not tell Jiang Shenwu about them. As Kang Shinmu put the 10 million gold dragon coins worth of cultivation resources into the formation was activated. The power of all the cultivation resources swept towards the starry sky small world. Like a whirlwind, they turned into waves of dense spiritual qi and were absorbed. The space within the small starry sky world expanded once again. The starry sky continent, which was originally 30,000 miles long, had expanded to 50,000 miles. Even more clouds had appeared in the sky, circling around the third ring of the starry sky small world, forming a beautiful scene. The space of the starry sky pocket world is indeed divided into 12 circles. The first circle is the starting area. This area isn't very big, but it's the core area of the small starry sky cosmos. Both the starry sky shrine and the dark creatures on the dark side of the starry sky continent live here. The second circle is the area where the first seal is unlocked. It's a barren land, but it's also the most suitable place for people to explore. There's no danger, and there aren't any precious resources. There seems to be some special creatures in the third circle. Kang Shinmu saw some creatures that seemed to be very powerful in the newly expanded third circle of the small starry sky world. Within this area, it was mainly a swamp. A large swamp surrounded the entire continent of the starry sky small world. The innermost area was the plains and forests, the core area of the small starry sky world. The second circle was a wasteland, used for the development of people who cultivated the inheritance of the starry sky power. The third circle was the swamp area, the most common training area. In this area, Kang Shinmu sensed many cultivation resources needed to cultivate the inheritance of the starry sky power. Elemental creatures. The creatures in the swamp area were elemental creatures. These creatures weren't real life, but some creatures formed by the condensation of energy. Kang Shinmu sensed some kind of power source hidden in the depths of the swamp area, which could continuously condense these elemental creatures and maintain the number of elemental creatures within a certain range. The cultivators of the starry sky power who lived in this world could kill these elemental creatures to obtain some cultivation resources for the inheritance of the starry sky power. Kang Xinmu sensed that these elemental creatures weren't very strong, and there were even some that were extremely weak. They were probably used for cultivators who had just started cultivating to gain experience. However, the swamp area was divided into many different levels of areas. Some elemental creatures had the strength of a king or even an emperor. However, the strongest among them was only a peak emperor. This expanded third circle seemed to be a training ground for cultivators to advance to the peak emperor level. The core area of the small starry sky world is the Starry Sky Temple. The cultivation resources inside are very rich, but they aren't renewable resources. I'm afraid it can only be provided for the cultivation of about 100 people. If you want a race to rise, you still have to rely on other cultivation resources. The resources in the swamp are one of the sources, but the main ones are the mineral deposits on the back of the Starry Sky continent. Unfortunately, the dark creatures guarding these mineral deposits are too strong. Even I can't defeat them. In the expanded second and third circles, more dark creatures appeared on the back of the Starry Sky continent. These creatures were guarding more cultivation resources and mineral deposits. The mineral deposits in the core area are too precious, and their strength is extremely high. However, the dark creatures guarding them seem to have reached the supreme level. This discovery made Kang Xinmu speechless. However, he soon discovered that from the Starry Sky Temple in the core area to the dark area of the second circle, the mineral deposits there weren't particularly precious, but they could at least meet the cultivation needs of a race of 10,000 people. The dark creatures guarding there weren't that strong, and they were only at the peak emperor level. Kang Xinmu didn't plan to touch these dark creatures. After all, he knew that these creatures were for the races that had migrated here to cultivate the power of the Starry Sky inheritance. Moreover, Kang Xinmu had the authority of the guardian temple of the small Starry Sky world, so he didn't lack cultivation resources. The resources in the temple can at most support the cultivation of 100 inheritors of the Starry Sky power. In other words, I can cultivate 100 core inheritors of the Starry Sky power. Kang Xinmu thought to himself, and soon he couldn't help but smile bitterly. Was he really going to develop a Starry Sky race? He didn't have the idea of developing a race on his own. After all, this wasn't a trivial matter, and it wasn't easy to achieve. He wasn't a great person, and his thinking was simple. He just wanted to improve his strength and save his father. Chapter 5061. Kang Xinmu's Starry Sky small world expanded to the third ring. He had already used up 13 million gold dragon coins worth of cultivation resources. It was a huge waste of money. However, Kang Xinmu also felt that after he unlocked the second seal of the Starry Sky small world, he could already unleash an extremely strong power. He could mobilize a portion of the power in the Starry Sky small world to launch a super powerful attack at a critical moment. The power of such an attack could even reach the level of a transcendent god stage 5. If I can unlock another seal, the super powerful attack of the Starry Sky small world will reach the level of a peak transcendent god. Moreover, such a super powerful attack doesn't seem to have a limit like other heaven and earth sacred items. It seems like I can use it continuously. However, it will consume the power stored in the Starry Sky small world. Every time I launch a super powerful attack, I will initially consume the stored power of heaven and earth. However, if I launch it a second time, I will need to consume the power of the Starry Sky Shrine. Now that I'm at the level of a transcendent god stage 5, I don't need to consume too much power to launch a super powerful attack. However, I can't rely too much on this method. From now on, the Starry Sky small world is my greatest asset. I can't kill the goose that lays the golden eggs. Of course, this can be used as a final trump card and a trump card to save my life. Kang Xinmu thought to himself. He didn't have any intention of developing a tribe now, so he put this matter to the back of his mind. However, Gu Xinyue and the other three who were trying to break through could clearly feel the changes in the entire starry sky small world. Apart from them, Yin Fengling, who had started cultivating the power of the starry sky inheritance, also felt the changes. The power of the starry sky in the small world had become more intense, and it was more than 3 times stronger than before. This power was sprinkled down from the sky. The second and third rings of the sky that had been unlocked were constantly gathering and nurturing the power of the starry sky, causing the density of the power of the entire starry sky small world to increase by at least 3 times. This was similar to when he was in the Dragon Martial continent, where the heaven and earth spiritual energy was extremely thin. However, in the Dragon God's great world, the heaven and earth spiritual energy and the Dragon Mark energy became extremely dense. It was even possible that it was dozens of times or even hundreds of times denser than in the Dragon Martial continent. This was the nurturing power of heaven and earth. The starry sky pocket world had given birth to even stronger and denser starry sky energy. As a result, the efficiency of the cultivators cultivating the power of the starry sky became much faster. Yin Fengling had yet to receive any deity's Templar's resources, so Kang Xinmu didn't really trust him. Originally, he was just groping around, following the teachings of the Temple of Light to improve the cultivation of the power of the starry sky. Now that the mark of the starry sky small world had been removed, his rate of improvement had obviously sped up. Without obtaining any resources from the Divine Hall, his rate of improvement was clearly 3 times faster than before. Even for Gu Xinyue and the others who had obtained resources from the Divine Hall, the increased density of starry sky energy in the air was extremely beneficial to their cultivation. They don't plan to explore the second circle of wastelands for now. I have no intention of exploring the third circle of the swamp either, Kang Xinmu smiled. Gu Xinyue and the other 3 had indeed surpassed that level. However, once Kang Xinmu unlocked the third seal of the starry sky small world, what kind of world would appear? What kind of changes would happen to the starry sky small world then? It was hard to predict. Kang Xinmu couldn't be bothered to think too much about it. When he was sure that the starry sky small world had not undergone any special changes due to the unlocking of the 2 seals, he put the starry sky small world away again. From then on, his combat power had become even more terrifying. And on the second day, he finally received another piece of good news. That was, the formless weapon that Huang Shanke had forged for him was finally out. This was a transcendent dragon weapon. Basically, only supreme god-level experts could exert its full power. But if Kang Xinmu obtained it now, he could exert 20 to 30% of its power. After all, he was an existence that was half a step into the supreme god level. Kang Xinmu followed Emoya back to the castellan residence of the Fortress of Iron Phoenix. Then he saw Emperor Shi and the Dragon God, who were admiring the formless weapon, as well as Huang Shanke. This is the strongest masterpiece that I've ever forged in my life. Heaven-level transcendent dragon weapon, formless weapon. I haven't named it yet. But the matter of naming it will, of course, be handed over to the owner of this transcendent dragon weapon. When she saw Kang Xinmu, Huang Shanke said with some excitement. Naming it? Kang Xinmu couldn't help but feel a little dumbfounded. There's no hurry. Listen to Master Huang Shanke introduce this dragon weapon first. The Dragon God Emperor said with a smile. She was also sizing up the transcendent dragon weapon in front of her, looking rather interested. And Kang Xinmu walked forward and saw the transcendent dragon weapon together with Emoya. He saw that it was a ball of light that kept changing shapes. This ball of light contained extremely strong power. Kang Xinmu could feel that within this ball of light, there were a total of 12 types of battle pattern power. Moreover, the power of these battle patterns could transform between each other. On the ball of light, there were 12 colors that corresponded to the 12 battle patterns. This is the formless weapon that was forged this time, the heaven-level transcendent dragon weapon. Within it, there are a total of 3,200 different battle patterns. There are a total of 12 types. These 12 battle patterns can be completely transformed between each other. For example, you can transform all 3,200 battle patterns into offensive battle patterns, defensive battle patterns, concealment battle patterns, void battle patterns, and so on. You can completely transform them freely. Now that you haven't reached the Supreme God level, you may only be able to control about 30% of the battle patterns. But that's already about 1,000 battle patterns. Compared to ordinary divine dragon weapons, it's already quite a lot more. This was something that Kong Shinmu understood. For example, the Phantom Ghost Book and the Great Compassion Sky Dragon Seal that he mainly used now, each only had 800 or 900 battle patterns. Among them, the Phantom Ghost Book had 320 offensive battle patterns, 240 concealment battle patterns, and 240 void battle patterns. In total, there were 800 battle patterns. As for the Great Compassion Sky Dragon Seal, it simply had 800 defensive battle patterns. Although the formless weapon in front of Kong Shinmu could only activate 30% of its battle patterns for the time being, it was already much stronger than these two dragon weapons. Moreover, the biggest feature of this formless weapon is that it has no fixed form. Other dragon weapons have one form when held in the hand, and another form when activated. There are only two forms, but this formless weapon is a formless dragon weapon.